9 years later.
What's up, everybody? Someone's phoning off right at the end there. That was very funny.
Yes.
The perfect silence and then boop boop. Oh, all right. Well, there we go. What's up? It's a new episode, another episode of Bounty Board, and we have a returning member.
The Sawft-Clothez Sommelier.
I wanted someone to pick that up.
What's up, everybody?
How's it going, Bobby?
Good. How are you all doing?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. It's been the holiday season, so work is crazy for anybody in retail.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy Howling days.
Yeah, your setup is sufficiently. Well, I've got Christmas lights, so I'm contributing a little bit. But you've got and they got green. They've got half the Christmas colors. Maybe we're all doing a little bit.
Yeah, I'm the ghost of Christmas to come. I'm wearing. Hang on. I'm the ghost of Christmas yet to come. Just do the whole.
My logo's got a Santa hat on it now.
Oh yeah,
I saw that. That looks really sharp.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, it's super dupe. Super dupe is what I just said. It is super
duper.
How's everybody's week been? Their last 7 days. I have to clarify this, Bobby, because Ben would be like, "It's only Wednesday," not realizing we record every Wednesday. So how's the last 7 days been?
I had a very relaxing weekend.
Yeah.
Yes.
I almost died 3 times over the weekend, and then
It was almost the most relaxing weekend.
well, putting up Christmas lights, I was Clark Griswolding the whole thing.
But of course.
And I oh shit, just smashed my mic. And so
Smash that mic button.
It got to the point where I'm up on, so I have a 2-story house and I'm on the very top layer, and I stepped on a strand of lights and just went to my ass and started sliding towards my inevitable doom.
Oh, no.
And thankfully I was able to spread out enough and put my hands down hard enough that I stopped, because I was right at the point where the fence line is, it goes into the backyard, and I would have landed where the fence between my neighbor and I connects perpendicular like this, right on that, and just cut myself in 3 pieces.
That is your last resort.
Pieces.
Yeah, it would have just been
like a cheese slicer.
Fucking something for Roger Rabbit.
I would have paid some good money to watch that.
Yeah, so, and then to top it all off, the icing on the cake, I plug in the lights and realize, in the mad rush of things my 8-month pregnant wife is just sending me while I'm at Home Depot, I picked up the wrong temperature of lights. So I have 6 strands of lights that are like really bright white and 1 that is warm. And what color do you guys think she wanted to go with?
Warm.
Mm-hmm.
Warm.
So I now have 1 strand of lights on my house, and the rest of them I took down today, and I have to go return 6 boxes of lights.
And then go re-imperil yourself.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is going to be
incredible.
It would have been a nope. We're replacing that one warm one with the white one.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. No.
Man.
I. The thing is, I agree with her.
It sucks.
But you almost died.
It sucks that there's no way to test this without getting it all set up and then plugging it in. You can't just boom. Okay, that's good, and then keep going. You have to get it all done.
I wouldn't even think about it. I should, if I'd have just looked at the boxes and been like, "Oh, these are the wrong fucking color," I would have been fine. But shit happens.
Don't they isn't it by alphabet letter now? It's like, hey, you've got this box, but you have letter L versus letter, and that's what's going to throw them off. Because I spent an embarrassing long time in the Target aisle trying to find a strand of LEDs for my wife. And it was really painful trying to decide which letter was what color.
You're at Target where they try and do that. I was at Home Depot where it's the wild fucking west of just fucking. What they do is they've got a 20-foot by 30-foot rectangle where all the Christmas shit is, and then the employees all stand on the opposite side of that and just laugh at everybody trying to maneuver around in there and push each other out of the way. It's really funny.
Mosh pit.
Holiday Hunger Games.
Exactly what it is. Exactly what it is.
Bobby, how's your week been, homie? Hopefully you
It's
didn't
been really
nearly
good.
die putting on Christmas lights. It would be a weird pattern.
No, I played around in the mud though. I was not wise and wouldn't cut down a Christmas tree on Sunday. I tried to go on Saturday, but it was pretty terrible weather. Sunday was just okay weather, but we went to Pocahontas, Illinois to get these trees, and the wagon that takes you out to the field where the trees grow, they're like, okay, this is where it stops. Like, it's basically on the highway. They're like, you got to hoof it to get this tree. And that was not fun because you're like walking out pretty far to cut down a tree when you're laying in the mud, and then you have to like heave ho this tree to the wagon. And
So how far are we talking then?
Bobby, you said you didn't like Red Dead, and this story makes me think you were bullshitting me the whole time.
Mechanically, I did better than Arthur did. The story wasn't as interesting. I got stuck in the mud 3 fucking times, and it was still mechanically better than Red. No, it was about 100 yards away from the road where I was at. So it wasn't that. I mean, it's like a 6.5 foot tree. It wasn't terrible, but no, it's been good, man. I work retail, as you all know. So I'm in it. I am in that thing right now. And outside of that, I had a lot of family over, and we got to chill. It was really
That's
Awesome.
How was the store for Black Friday? Were you there that
It's
day?
great, man. I was. I had the late night shift there on Black Friday and met a lot of cool people, and we had a lot of fun. Those days are some of my favorites in retail. Like, everybody's like, "Oh, Black Friday, man, are you scared?" I'm like, "No, man. Every motherfucker works on Black Friday. It's good." And so having all the team there, like as busy as it was still cool. Like, we had a good staff. We had pizza. It was a lot of fun.
All right. You guys did it well.
What about you? How was the retail for you?
Oh God! So GameStop, which is probably the polar opposite from your workplace, has about 8 people on staff. They were all there that day, and the line was about 30 feet long within the store for about 8 straight hours.
Wow.
It was bananas. So
Good night.
if you guys listen to the podcast on podcast services, we had an episode last week that was all holiday deals. I talked for 45 minutes about holiday deals. It was fun. But Xbox had a $150 deal for the Slim All Digital and a $200 deal for the Slim with Star Wars. And then PlayStation did a $200 deal which was a Slim PS4 that came with God of War, Last of Us Remastered, and Horizon Zero Dawn Complete, which is a fucking steal. And we sold out of all of those at noon on Friday.
Wow.
Man, that's really good, though.
Yeah.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, people were coming in like crazy. People were having fun. We've gotten phone calls probably half a dozen times an hour for the last 3 days looking for those bundles. So like people are still looking for, and we actually had an employee who bought one for a family, return one because they got it somewhere else. And so like suddenly we had like 5 phone calls one day, and I was like, why are we getting phone calls about this? Because we had one in the back. And then someone came and got it within like 30 minutes. People were waiting.
Man.
So it was fun.
That's cool. I mean, I guess it could have been worse, right?
Yes. The best part is when you can see where it might be getting worse, and then you avoid it. And you go, oh, okay, we did it. We did it. We nailed it. What other news do I have? So last night, we continued the Proc Gens playthrough of the Halo games. And first big iota of news, I figured out how to get my $250 headset to finally pick up and put out audio and chat to my stream so I don't have to have a second set of earbuds in. So that's fucking dope. Being able to play and hear everything is so good. And to make things even better, one mission into Halo Reach, I looked at my phone in a cutscene and saw that Marcus Leto, the creator of Master Chief and co-creator of Halo, was tweeting about playing the Master Chief Collection. And I was like, fuck it. I'll tell him I'm playing with my grandma, my uncle, and my younger brother, and throw the NerdyBits link up there. And in the middle of a cutscene, Game Fabricator, which is his Twitter handle, says what's up in the chat, and I lost my shit. And started to talk in the middle of a cutscene, and like my grandma and Ben were like, shut up, and I was like, so then the cutscene faded to black, and I was like, hey guys, say hi to Marcus, he's in the chat. And Marcus hung out for like an hour and a half.
And
wow,
Craig,
that's awesome.
you guys met him at
We didn't get a chance to actually run into him, but we did go to his panel with Sparth. So we brought that up last night because he was like, I was there, and we were like, yeah, we saw you, but we didn't want to chase you down like fucking maniacs. But yeah, dude, we got like lore bits too. Like he told us that all of the soldiers you recruit in Halo Reach that come up with a name on the bottom left of your screen are all staff members. And I noticed that when like Brian Gerard, the community manager's name was in my list. And last fun fact, and I promise Ryan will get to seeing how your week was. He also said that there's a cutscene where George calls Catherine Halsey ma'am, but he has an accent, and it sounds like he says mom. And I brought up that like when I was younger, I thought he just said mom, and that was huge because I read the books and I was like, oh my god, he calls her mom. And Marcus was like, yeah, that was on purpose. Like the guy who cast and the guy who did the script got together and like decided like this needs to happen because it needs to be ambiguous. That ambiguity was on purpose.
Yeah.
Which, man, it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
We came up with a t-shirt, Sniper Waifu.
Sniper Waifu?
Yes. Because my grandma said Sniper Waifu on accident.
God.
So now we're going to get a picture of a female Spartan holding a sniper rifle, and it's going to say Sniper Waifu.
We can make that happen.
We're going to have to, what is it called when you, like, put it out there to see if people
focus
like
group
it? Maybe it was a focus
test it?
I don't
No, they'll like that one.
I don't know if it's funny outside of context.
That makes it more funny because then you're like, what the fuck is this?
It's a shirt with a story. But yeah, so that was last night, and it blew my mind. Yeah. Ryan, how was your last 7 days been, my friend?
Well, I haven't been on. I don't think I was on the week before. Bobby.
What's happening?
He's like, oh, what? No, I don't think I was on the week before last either. So it's been a couple weeks since I've been around. But it's been pretty good. We got Christmas decorations up this weekend. I haven't done anything on the roof yet. I probably won't do it this year. I'm just gonna try to slide that one in there. Just kind of.
Just.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll just do it tomorrow. Like
just ball it up in your hands and fling it up there and see what happens. Yeah, we'll be good.
Yeah. So been hanging out with the baby a whole lot.
How's the baby doing?
She's doing good. She's gonna be 5 months in about 4 days.
Jesus.
5 days. Yep.
That's
5
wild.
days. She's rolling over. She's starting to like use her elbows to push herself up and stuff like that. So it's getting interesting. She's getting a personality and it's a lot of fun. So I'm just having a good time with all that. I haven't really been doing much. I switched to Mixer last week and that was good. I'm starting to build up a following there. So
how's she like the combat? Does it put her to sleep or does she get worked up from it?
I haven't played that yet. She's been watching me play Ark a lot though, and she likes the dinosaurs. So
nice.
Yeah.
Ryan, I just want to warn you, and Eric can corroborate this if he's experienced anything like it. Tonight, so your kid will eventually understand things emotionally, and when that first dawns on you, it will fuck you up. So tonight, Amanda and I are watching Noelle on Disney Plus, which is the Anna Kendrick, Bill Hader Christmas movie.
Oh yeah.
And when they leave for Arizona, which is Arizona, they don't know how to pronounce it, they leave a baby reindeer behind, and it like chases after the sleigh. Mm-hmm. And then like is whimpering and like crying when they fly away. And my 2.5-year-old daughter started fucking sobbing and was like, no, they left the baby. He's so sad. And Amanda and I were just looking at each other like, what? What is this? We were both like trying not to cry.
Nobody told us this would happen.
She was so fucking heartbroken, dude. Oh, it hurt so bad.
It's really funny because Sai is super emotional. That's my 5-year-old son, and Ella is stone cold.
Black Widow.
Yep, she don't movies and media. She's just like whatever. Sai though will be watching a movie, and he's very empathetic, is what we're finding out, and he is just he cried at that same thing in Noelle when we watched it. we were watching a commercial the other day, and we're sitting there, and there's like a tear running down his eye, and we're just like, "What is?" He's like, "It's sad," and I'm like,
Size my new best friend.
"I'm like, it's a commercial,
dude. If a breeze hits me the right way, I'll cry. It's just how I am.
Yeah, he's, and then we're gonna see here in a month what happens, or 6 months what happens with Forbes. So,
yeah, buddy.
We're doing it again.
All over again.
Yep.
Speaking of, I said Black Widow a minute ago. This is a segue. Fuck it. I just ruined it by saying it's a segue. Black Widow got its first trailer this week. Everybody watch it?
Yes.
What'd y'all think?
I find it hard to be excited about it knowing that she's gone. Spoiler alert.
If you haven't seen Infinity War,
Safe harbor.
The trailer's like a month later, just straight up showed Cap holding the hammer. So,
yeah,
I think it looked cool.
It did look cool, and David Harbour looks amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Giant beard and a red
Man,
sun, Captain America.
You give me more bearded, chunky superheroes, I'll be a happy ass guy.
Right.
Yeah, I like the.
No,
I like
one more thing I can cosplay as. Thank God.
Dude, seriously. I cover my ugly face and have my gut hang out and still fit in. Fucking sign me up.
I love the trend of making superheroes out of shape.
I can cosplay as Thor now too, so that's
good.
Yep. Thor, and now what's this guy's name? Red Guardian.
Yeah.
I love how he's like, it still fits, and then his daughters were like, you got fat, and he was like, man, shut up.
There wasn't much about this trailer that stood out. It might as well have been a movie about something completely different. And I don't know. It just looked really sort of like generic, and then he showed up. I'm like, now I'm on board.
They were super cagey about Taskmaster. You saw him like once the whole trailer.
Mm-hmm. Right. Bow and arrow, right? Was that him?
Yeah, he comes out of the truck with a bow and arrow. I super hope they do him justice.
Do they have they said, Ben, you probably know more than any of us, when this takes place?
Yeah, it's there's a part in the series where she actually splits to clean her ledger.
Yeah.
So she has to go take care of some stuff.
It's right after Civil War.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Everybody splits for a few years to take care of some business. That's when it happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I also had the realization today that like Taskmaster and Shang Tsung fought a few times, and my brain
Shang Tsung?
Mortal Kombat?
Yeah. Shang Tsung. What's the guy's name?
I don't know what you're saying.
Shang-Chi.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's not that far off, guys.
It's not. But,
I thought there was a crossover. I thought Ed Boon was making some of that money. I'm like, what the fuck?
No.
Announcement. Breaking news. Ed Boon drops his partnership with DC, picks up with Marvel. You heard it here first.
No, I think Taskmaster fights with Shang-Chi, and my brain is still trying to wrap its head around the fact that the Marvel Universe is getting a Chinese-directed, Chinese-choreographed kung fu movie.
Very excited about
it. Oh, yeah.
Yep. Zing says in the chat that the music was very Winter Soldiery. I don't recall that, but I do recall the music being very cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier was very
and
interesting.
I'm 90% sure, I haven't verified it, but that the apartment where they meet him and his sister for the first time is the apartment from the first Bourne movie.
Where he gets a pin in between his fingers?
Exactly. I'm almost positive that's the same apartment.
That's awesome.
Isn't her sister later on Black Widow?
Yes.
So that's one way they could bring her back, I suppose.
Yes. The rumor is that Black Widow will come back and it'll be her sister filling in for her.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then we can have more Black Widow and Hawkeye.
I guess because Scarlett Johansson's off doing,
the Lord's work. What'd you say?
In Japan and Africa, probably doing other things.
I don't know where to go from there. So let's just dive
I watched that trailer right after I watched the new Bond trailer today too. And
that's
I
what
thought that
I was
looked
going to next. Yeah, dude. That trailer's sexy.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And there's a scene in that trailer, like right in the middle, right after he finds out that she's I can't remember the actress's name, but she's
Fragile. You can just call her Fragile.
No, not her. That's funny. Not her. There's a scene where Bond finds out that the black chick is a 00 agent, and you see her like moving backwards into shadow, but like she turns and aims before she shifts her head, and it's really quick, and it looked really slick. For some reason, that to me was like, ooh, it's smooth and whatever. Dude,
I couldn't tell. Is his face all messed up, or is he got a tattoo? I couldn't tell, like if he's got a tattooed
Oh, are you
face or if
talking
he's got a
about
scarred up face.
Rami Malek?
Yeah. There's some sort of facial like scarring going on, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Because it sounded like when he was talking that there was definitely some struggle enunciating certain words that would make it sound, had some trauma to the face at some point in time.
There you go.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm 100% down for Rami Malek as a Bond villain. That's going to be incredible.
For sure,
I'm
man.
doing kind of basically anything, really.
Yeah, Rami Malek can... Dude, Rami Malek, Prince of Persia, 2024.
Sands of time again. Sands of time 2.
Sands of time.
Shifting sands. Prince of Persia, the Sandlot.
Prince of Persia, the Sandlot would be incredible.
Forever.
Oh man. Oh dude, he does his hallway quick draw at the end of this trailer.
Yeah.
The like thing from the original credits.
He's like in a sewer though. It's like he saw a rat or something.
Yeah.
Just turns really quick.
Blew away a rat with this Walther PPK.
Is that a rat?
Not anymore, Bond. Anna de Armas is in this too. Ana de Armas. She was in Knives Out. Has anybody in this group seen Knives Out yet?
No, man. I was gonna go on Sunday. Ended up having to get that stupid tree and got stuck in the mud, man. Those mechanics.
Stupid fucking tree.
I've been a really bad moviegoer this year.
Y'all go see Knives Out. It's incredible.
And
it's
the game player, but
I've
we'll
heard
get in that a little bit later.
Yeah, we'll find out about that right now. So yeah, let's move into the top. Did anybody else have news? I'm sorry, my brain is a mushmallow.
No.
A marshmallow.
Yes.
Got it.
Mushmallow.
A marshmallow. Perfect. It's like a marshmallow, but worse.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, Bobby. I'm not trying to kill you.
No, it's okay. It's good. I'm dead.
On over there?
I got a little 4 roses and some cherries and a little simple syrup.
It's like 3
kind
parts.
of a makeshift.
I find that agreeable.
Yeah.
It was mostly just a little bit of 4 roses, and then I threw some stuff in there to make it look a little bit more festive for the show.
Oh, I was gonna say like 3 parts 4 roses and 1 part backwash.
I got real big fingers, so like to do however this was, it was
2
there's a
fingers
lot.
is like 8 ounces.
Yeah. Anybody want a peanut?
I'm gonna call you the Sawft-Clothez Sommelier for nothing, homie.
Oh my god!
All right, so
I missed you, Bobby. So much.
I miss you guys too.
It's the end of the year. We've done a lot this year. We've had a YouTube channel with video content and streams and another podcast with the grandma and all sorts of stuff. But all of that has led to us having a pretty good idea of what came out this year and what we think about it. And so we wanted to get together a week before the Game Awards and talk about what NerdyBits nominees would be for our categories. So we have a list of categories that is similar to the Game Awards. We left out some stuff that I don't think any of us really get into, like best esports team, best esports moment, best esports event, best
esports manager. Is like
that stuff's cool.
Yeah, that's a bit much.
That stuff's cool. That
a lot.
It's cool that there's a place for that, but I didn't feel like anybody here had a strong enough opinion on any of that stuff.
I want a place for that stuff too because I want it to get bigger. I don't think the Game Awards is that place.
Well, what I think the Game Awards need to eventually sprout off a separate event that's like the ESPYs, the ESPN Awards.
Well, they do have that. That's what
amazing.
The Stream Awards are that happened a couple weeks ago. That's very focused on the esports and streaming community. Firm handshakes to Doc for winning Streamer of the Year again.
Nice.
That's the only award I know.
Did he accept the award from the bathroom?
No, he did not. He was on stage. But yeah, they do a lot of focus there. I think it's nice to just recognize it. I agree that it's not necessarily a main focus. I don't know if they have to have 3 dedicated categories to it. I agree with you, Ben. But it, yeah.
This is like a terrible way to like compare it, but it almost feels like you're watching something like the Oscar mashed with the Super Bowl in certain points, and it's like those two worlds collide in a really strange way. Yeah, and it's like I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how to speak to like this level or this level of it. And like I went through and I was doing my voting, I was like, well, how do I pick somebody? I don't know anything about this shit. Yeah. I don't want to leave them hanging.
It's really weird. Yeah, I don't like best art direction and game for impact, followed by best esports player. It's like
Mountain Dew moment.
Yeah, it's like I mean, it's actually G Fuel moment would be the way to do it.
I think with the esports,
out of the loop,
it would be a lot better, or like people would pay attention to it more if there wasn't so many games with so many teams. Like in like real sports, there's like 10 games in total, and like most people pay attention to like basketball, baseball, football, that kind of thing. But then you've got esports that's like Rocket League, CSGO, League of Legends, like 50 games with 20 teams.
Completely disagree that people only pay. You're talking about an American market. You've got to look at this at a global scale.
No, I get that, but like I'm just pointing out like the American thing that we do is like my father-in-law can name the Cardinals from the 1960s team, but like I don't know a single person that can name like 3 people from Cloud9's League of Legends
in our age group. I bet you Smurf could one. But in our age group, I completely agree with that. You jump down 10 years to the kids that are 20 years old. Or shit, that's 20 years for me. Sorry. For Ben and I. You go back to the kids.
Man, 10 years. You're right. Yeah, 10 years. Yeah.
Chris Hansen's going to show up if you say something again.
Glad I shaved tonight. But the point being is that there's a couple kids, the high school kids that I coach lacrosse with, that could absolutely name all of them. Because they're huge League of Legends players and they follow that and they talk about it. Like I listen to some of my friends talk about fantasy football. They participate in all of the esports fantasy leagues. And I'm like
100% down for esports getting to the point where they have like a daytime radio show you can watch on a channel, like the Dan Le Batard show. But it's just like fucking millennials talking about games and like
there's a lot of
PDAs and shit.
Yeah,
there's a lot of Twitch channels that do that.
I can see why.
I can't remember what episode number it was for us when we did the esports episode. But I think it was you, Caleb, or maybe it was you, Eric, that talked about like how cool it would be to go to like a Buffalo Wild Wings and go in where like every TV has a different sport on, and there'd be like esports playing or something like that. And I thought that would be really cool because like I end up watching that shit, and you can pick up within a few minutes of like, okay, that team's scoring or that's going on. Like, even if you're completely oblivious to what's happening. And I think it would be a way to help mainstream and build a little bit more understanding, or a bridge, so to speak. If a place, Buffalo Wild Wings or any other sports bar, tuned in one of their TVs to some sort of esport, just to be like, oh yeah, this has a place at the table. And I think that would be a really cool thing to see.
You're starting to see it more. There's a high school by my house they've got an esports organization that has a league team. It's funny to say high school and esports organization, but they've got a league team, they've got a CSGO team, they've got a Dota team, and I want to say a PUBG or Apex team. But we were out at watching a movie, and there's Buffalo Wild Wings, and that's where they were having their end of year celebration. And it was kind of cool to see that. I begrudgingly dragged Melissa in so I could see what was going on, and she was like, "Okay, we're gonna go now because you're the only one that you and Si are the only ones that eat wings."
So okay, hold on. This is a thing apparently, because I'm always like, "Yo, you know what I could go for? Some fucking chicken wings," and there's a B-dubs right there, and Amanda's always like, "Ugh, B-dubs." What is it?
It's the McDonald's of wings places.
Yes,
they're not.
But McDonald's sounds good sometimes.
Yeah, okay.
See, but McDonald's is cheap. B-dubs is not.
You're right. Okay. But when it comes to high quality wings, there are better places. Like there's a place called Surf and Turf right down the road from my house that makes Vietnamese lemon black pepper wings, and they are
But sometimes
my
you
mouth
want
is
the
watering.
There
chicken
could be a
nuggets and
Lunchable
wings.
that had hot wings in it, and I'd eat that shit. Like, that's how much I like hot wings. I'm not that proud. They can put it. They put tacos and pizza and Lunchables. Put a fucking hot wing in there. I will buy that shit in bulk. I'll get a Sam's Club membership so I can buy the economy size Lunchable hot wing pack right now. Like, give it to me. Give it to me.
I'm so
Move
down
on.
for this. Let's go. How do we get talking about? Oh, so categories, right? So I'm gonna run through the categories real quick, and then we'll go through.
I think we should do your top category last.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
So we're gonna discuss nominees and argue our cases for best indie game, best ongoing game, best game direction, best game narrative, best art direction, best score or music, best performance, best mobile game, best action game, best action adventure, best RPG, best strategy, best family, best sports racing fighting, best multiplayer, and best surprise game.
Is this a good? Are we spoilering this shit?
What do you mean spoilering?
Can we get into some, like, how in the weeds are we going to get with some of this stuff if we're
Right.
making points or talking about specific?
Well, I have a feeling what you and I were going back and forth on Discord in is going to take up most of the conversation, so we should breeze through the rest of the shit
I might
and then
roll
get
over
to
and
it.
let you scratch my belly on that one, but I am going to make some points on that for sure.
Okay.
We can't come back to that now. So we're going with first best multiplayer game, and these are the things that I have written down as contenders: Call of Duty, Apex Legends, Borderlands 3. I skipped it, and Death Stranding. I guess we should also put like Fortnite in there, but
No.
for us, for our Call of Duty, Apex, Borderlands, and Death Stranding. And I feel like before we can discuss this,
Oh, well, I would
One of
argue
the
that
most monumental moments in gaming with that whole black hole shit. That shit was
no, I understand that,
that's
but
why
I would argue
Fortnite's
that
in the ongoing game segment.
that and Fortnite and Apex should be an ongoing game, not necessarily.
You can
you
win
know,
multiple. Have you seen the
multiplayer.
Oscars? You can mop up. One game can get multiple.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
So before we
to answer the question, yes and no, and I'll let Bobby make his points, and then I'll just bludgeon him to death.
Yes, Bobby. So for those of you who don't know, Bobby sent me his list like a week and a half ago, and Death Stranding was in the best multiplayer spot, and I laughed and said, "That's hilarious," and he was like, "It is," and I was like, "You're not kidding? Oh fuck." So Bobby,
I mean, I'm always kidding, but I can say this much that I put Death Stranding down.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, as my poor wife, who is like cringing every time I speak. So let me just put this out there for those of you who don't know. I don't play a whole lot of multiplayer things anymore, and if I do play something that's multiplayer, it tends to be more in the co-op category. And I don't even know if I like Death Stranding. I don't think I do.
It's FedEx, the video game.
Yeah, look, you're right. It's Amazon. It's FedEx.
y'all are
It's
such reductive turds.
No shit.
But what I can tell you is that I can't stop playing this game, and I think what the reason I nominated this game is, and this is going to be, I'll talk a little bit up to like Chapter 3 in that game, so if anybody's worried about spoilers, I won't go past. Chapter 3 is when they kind of give you a little bit more control of what's going on in that game, and you have a good idea what to loop it. But it introduces some new mechanics in the game where you can start to go and connect the chiral network in these areas. And when you do that, like things that other people that were playing this game, those instances come into your world. And one of the things that really has bothered me about multiplayer games in the last 10 years is just actually having to interact with people. Mm-hmm. And that sounds kind of shitty, and I don't mean to be a curmudgeon or anything like that.
I know where you're going with this though.
And I don't need to like entertain other people, but I also don't want to be lonely playing a game, if that makes any sense. And so I think for me, like I loved Minecraft. I played a lot of Minecraft years ago. And one of the things about that is I could open up Minecraft and do my shit in there, and I'd come back the next day to that server I was on, and there'd be all this other new shit to go and explore. I'm like, holy cow, like this happened overnight. Like that's absolutely insane that this was built overnight. And you can go in and interact with it. You can have chests that people can put like shared resources in. Like, hey guys, I could use some whatever. If anybody has any extra, would you dump it in here? And I'd come back in and I'd grab that stuff out of the chest and I'd go and use it. And I'd be like, oh man, whoever put that in there, that was super. And then like somebody would put a sign up and they would say like, hey, that was me. You're welcome. You know, hey, I could use this if you have any. And you go back and you had limited interaction with people. I think one of the cool things about Death Stranding is you open up to a point where you have, they're teaching you about making the loop in the game where you're going between these two places. And you have to basically take some shit to this person. He gives you more tasks. You take it to that person. And it's just a really, I mean, to use Eric's point, it's FedEx. You're going back and forth and you're doing that. But the first time you do it, it's pretty fucking difficult. And the terrain is unforgiving and you got to go through some BTs, which is like super annoying. I'm like, God, this is just painful. Like, I'm not having a good time. I turned it off and I came back the next morning and like where I started out, there was now a road. And I was like, what the hell is going on? And I saw that this thing popped up and it was like, hey, this person built a road. And I'm like, it said, do you want to like it? I'm like, well, yeah, sure. I'll give them a like. And then you can see how many people liked it. And I was like, wow, that's cool. And then it's like, hey, if you have any resources, you can help extend this road. And I was like, oh man, like I'm going to take this road and go as far as I can. And the roads are recharging your vehicle's battery and like really worked out well. You could avoid a lot of the people, the mules that were trying to take you. And I'm going down this road and I'm like, holy shit, other people did this. I'm not like, look, there's nobody in the middle of the road flossing right now or emoting or keeping me from doing what I'm doing or doing something fucking annoying. Like if I get killed, I'm not getting teabagged. Like all those things that like drive me crazy about like the culture around, that make multiplayer are happening, but I don't have to see it. I don't have to talk to anybody. I don't have to look at their stupid fucking outfits. I don't have to see that they had more. Like, I don't have to deal with any of that shit. I can see that, like, hey, pee on this mushroom. Yeah, I'll help you pee on this mushroom. But I got to go deliver this package. So I come back, I'll pee on your mushroom, I'll throw some stuff on the road, and now our road goes to the mountains, and I don't have to deal with any of this bullshit, including who you are. I don't know who you are. I'm not listening to you call me, like, a noob or talk about my mom. Like, you've helped me build this road. You're okay in my book. It is, without a the best multiplayer experience I've had all year long. Now, whether it's a multiplayer game or not, I played that game with other people. They helped me build some fucking roads.
Technically didn't, though.
Right, I did.
Can I read something and you guys can respond accordingly? According to Wikipedia, the most reliable source, a multiplayer video game is a video game in which one person can play in the same game environment at the same time, either locally or online over the internet.
So I was playing with people at the same time.
No, people were playing the game at the same time, and there are instances where the worlds touch. You know,
just the tips touch, and it's still
just
counted,
the tips.
Okay?
Just the tips.
It's like you're setting each other paper airplanes from.
And I'm going to go back to your point about Minecraft and the shit that was happening overnight, right? And that is where I feel the flaw in your argument begins. Is
no, my flaw.
Minecraft. I now have the conch. It's my turn.
Bobby just fucking gargled 4 roses.
Is Minecraft, you can be in the same server. When you were in that server, could be somebody on the other side of that world. There could be somebody there.
I hope not.
There could be somebody standing mining with a pickaxe right behind you, or somehow pushing a creeper towards you to blow you up, right? That's you're in a world that you exist at the same point in time as the other people. You're not playing a game where you're able to put ones and zeros in someone else's game, right?
I can put boots and I can put some,
it's still
spray to make the rain go.
My point being is I think where my argument here is the best multiplayer game is the core of my argument is it's the purity of it. It's a traditional multiplayer. You're in the same thing, working as a team or cooperatively to achieve whatever the goal is of it. Is it a map? Is it to win the BR mode? Is it to, beat the level boss in Borderlands? Whatever it may be, which is where Death Stranding is not. It's asynchronous, right? It's an asynchronous multiplayer experience. It's not a multiplayer experience.
Eric, you're absolutely right. I love you. But I have no desire to make this the #1 game on the list for multiplayer. It is
still
my
gonna argue
personal favorite. I absolutely, it's the only good thing I can find in that game, quite frankly. Everything else in that game is something else.
Oh.
Like being able to see these mushrooms to pee on. Yeah, man, I'll keep playing that.
But see, like that, it's where you say. Sorry, Ben, you were gonna say something a second ago. What was that?
I was just gonna give Bobby a little credit. He says, I don't know if it's a multiplayer game, but it is his best multiplayer experience this year.
That is
fair enough.
That's the thing.
Right.
So I have this isn't the Death Stranding podcast, but I take issue with the idea that like that the multiplayer the multiplayer aspect is the only good thing about this game. Ben and I sat and played it for an hour and a half yesterday, and I was completely fucking enthralled.
Yeah.
I'm being very hyperbolic in it. I've played that game quite a bit. I'm actually I'm like just past chapter 4 at this point in time.
Okay.
How many hours of cutscenes have you watched?
Not a lot, man. I'll tell you what I can't stop doing is like there's something that of course, but there's something that's just so like it's weird. It's like I go to work all day and then I come home to work in a video game and I absolutely fucking like you give me a list of things to do and the music and all that, like it's been a pretty like outside of the BT stuff, which can be nerve-wracking, that game mechanically has some interesting concepts at play and it looks great. Like I don't like the story. I couldn't tell you what's going on with the story. It doesn't make any fucking sense. But I don't need that to make what I'm doing in the game. And seeing other people doing stuff to make the experience fun for me has been really cool.
Yeah, Bobby, you don't have to explain anything to me. I play Farming Simulator, so I mean,
dude, this is basically American Trucker, but you know, with
on foot,
whales and ghosts.
Without a truck,
but with whales
American
and ghosts.
Yeah, man, I've like had like this like spiritual connection to Ryan. I'm like, man, I wonder if Ryan's swinging beans. What if I'm bringing beans to Ryan? Like this person out here in the middle of nowhere, I got to get him his beans. Like that's multiplayer, man. You ain't gonna tell me otherwise.
To somebody and. He said, explain the gameplay loop. And I've only played that hour and a half that Caleb mentioned. And I said, if you've ever gone hiking on a path that's barely a path and you have to choose which rock to step on, or you're going to twist your ankle and then throw 150 pounds on your back, right?
Yeah.
And like, I
Let's
love
go
hiking,
wreck
and
the
I spent
game.
a lot of my childhood outdoors. So like literally hunting for the right rock to jump on was like, I don't want to go as deep as to say it was cathartic, but I'm like, oh, I get this. This is neat. So as I was traversing across the landscape, I don't know, like it made just the act of walking and carrying something interesting to me. So
and
like,
it's interesting.
Walking
Bear Grylls
FedEx
shows up in this
Simulator,
game,
and it's just like that's
Bear Grylls is just he's the last.
It'd be amazing
mission.
if you come across Bear Grylls just out in the wild and he's just like
peeing on a mushroom.
Peeing on a mushroom.
Dude, you better drink his own piss.
Time.
He wouldn't dare pee on a mushroom. He'd save that stuff to drink and survive on. You know, he ain't gonna pee on no mushrooms. It's weird. Like if you would have told me that a game that legitimately brought some of the worst mechanics from other games to the spotlight, and I'd be like, man, I mean, you're wrong. But there's something weird. There's something there. Like it's. I don't know if it's for me or against me, but I keep doing it, and yeah.
We need to stop talking about this game, or we're going to rationalize it into winning every single category.
Which is nominated for.
Done.
Yeah. So other multiplayer games, we got Call of Duty, Apex, and Borderlands, and I feel like there's a pretty good pitch for Apex and Borderlands. I don't know if Call of Duty deserves.
Call of Duty's. I mean, it's a Call of Duty game, and it's a rock solid multiplayer experience. I'm having more
exactly
fun.
what you expected.
Yeah, it gave me exactly what I expected. It gave me
fits of rage.
I'm finding out so many people know my mom. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's not. Well, I have everybody muted. It's what was I gonna say? I'm stuck on mom now. Wondering why everybody knows her. Yeah, and they just dropped the first season, the season 1 battle pass. That's really cool. I like that they took a streamer, a relatively well-known streamer in Alex Zedra, an influencer. If you guys don't know her, she's involved with the Black Rifle Company guys and what is it? First From? Is that the supplement? Ben, do you know them?
No.
First PHROM. She's a big influencer for them. She's also a professional shooter. First Form. Sorry.
Yes,
there we
that's
go.
a St. Louis company.
All right. Yeah.
Wait, what?
First Form's in St. Louis.
That's
First
dope.
Form. And she's also a professional shooter. So she knows her way around firearms better than most in the world. But she's Mara, and it was really cool watching her stream last night when it came out, and then she was playing as herself, which was probably kind of visceral. But yeah, it's a Call of Duty game. I think Apex, from a multiplayer experience, is a much more tuned multiplayer experience, and just the way that game was released this year, I think, puts it in very high in the categories for me. And the Borderlands
caused a lot of people to have to learn shit together for the first time too.
I agree.
It was so different. That was wild.
I feel like Apex has to be the front runner for me because of its innovation. And
you can that much, but I have to agree.
You can argue that it's a battle royale. It doesn't do that much new, but the ping system is being replicated by everybody because that shit's fucking revolutionary.
Fucking Borderlands has a ping system.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm super interested to find out how many studios were making a multiplayer experience and went, shit, we need to unbind one of the buttons so we can turn it into a ping button. How can we structure the controller scheme so that we can adapt for this? Because it's not only useful, but it makes the game accessible for people that don't have a microphone or are deaf and can't hear their friend. You know what I mean? It just makes it.
Yeah, man.
Makes it.
Their parents are sleeping and not trying to whisper into a mic like we did when we were kids.
Yeah.
It does some cool stuff about this disruption too, though. I think again, I said earlier, I don't play a lot of multiplayer games, so I know that you guys do. I know Eric is a huge Borderlands fan, and that game came out this year as well. But I think that there was something about Apex that disrupted, where it caused people to stop playing maybe the known quantities that they were used to with their friends and try something. And the ping system, to your point, guys, is a huge thing for multiplayer aspect. They had to learn an entire new system, and I think that I even some of the earlier memories on this show was hearing people in chat, or hearing you guys talk, or seeing people in chat talk about, oh yeah, we played that last night and I had a Mozambique and cleaned out a team or something like that. I think that there was some really cool things to see, and even in the sense that you've got Fortnite out there that was doing it, you got Call of Duty this year, you got a Borderlands this, you've got Rainbow Six that's still been super strong as a service, and it was Smurf. And you have all kinds of other shit. When I saw Apex come, the world kind of stopped for a while, and that was it. And it caused people to have to come in and do some different shit. So for me, even though that game ultimately isn't for me, I've got nothing but buckets of respect for what it is and what it's doing. And I think that is probably arguably the best when it comes to what it did for the for 2019, specifically for this year. That's what we're talking about.
For sure. 100%. The number of times that we had moments that just PUBG and Fortnite never gave me in the Battle Royale space, where I was able to ping somebody for a friend because I was down, or I was able to have somebody shoot over me and I was able to put my down shield up and they were able to use me as a mobile base, and God, just amazing moments. What do we want to talk about next? I want to talk about best indie. Y'all dictated the first one because of this fucking feud over the multiplayer and Death Stranding.
Love you all. Thank you for letting me be an asshole.
There was a moment about 3 minutes in where I realized Bobby's just being a devil's advocate right now. It was very good.
Who, me?
What? No. So best indie game. For this category, I've got Katana Zero, Outer Wilds, Untitled Goose Game, Creature in the Well, and Ben added River City Girls. I did not play River City Girls, but I played all of the other ones.
Man,
I played none of the above.
That is a list and a half, my friends.
You know, it is. But Outer Wilds fucked me up so much this year.
Outer Wilds rocked me. It's one of my Game of the Year contenders.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree.
That game fucking destroyed the ending.
That game made me feel some things that I wasn't really prepared to feel, and it did a lot of different things. Katana Zero, look, that game's cool. It's got style. I would say like stylistically, probably one of the best. But when it comes to like Outer Worlds can be horror, it can be games with impact, it can be like, I mean, there's like check so many boxes for a game, and I think that the team that made that game was relatively small, and to hear that I'm a huge Zelda fan, and that Majora's Mask was like the catalyst for them, a muse standpoint, and when it's just so good. There's so much there.
I just didn't expect most of that game. Most of what they put in front of me, I felt like I was playing. There's two games that made me think, what WTF the whole time. It was Inside and this.
Mm-hmm. Sure,
for sure.
Entire experience, I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah,
like when
I went to the Bramble last, and when I went into the Bramble, and then like I was like, what's that? Oh God!
One planet like drained its sand to the other one, and both planets had things to explore at every stage of where the sand is. Ugh. Like I'm not a game developer, so this sentence literally has zero meaning, but I don't know how they made that.
No idea.
Yeah.
Man, that's a game that, like, when you first do it and you understand what it's asking of you, it's really fucking intimidating. And
sure is.
It's got a pretty steep climb to get to like knowing what the fuck is going on. But when you get to that summit and you can kind of see what they're asking you to do, man, there is something. I agree, Ben. Like that, it's going to be talked about a lot, and I mean, it already is. Like, pick any podcast that's worth their salt, in my opinion. They're talking about this game at this time of the year, and
I'm so happy that game got here. Where people are talking about it that much.
Well, I think it also kind of got like, it came out, you're right, and it was a Game Pass game, and people were like, "Oh wow, it's just debuting on Game Pass. It must be needing some help or whatever." And you see who produced it, and you're like, "Oh, Anna Prano, that's pretty fucking recognizable."
Yeah.
And you get into it, and it's like, "Oh, I got this, fucking treehouse spaceship. I'm gonna go out and explore some things." And then, holy cow, that game is. I don't think I've ever played a game that is unforgiving as what this game is, but also as rewarding as this game is if you see.
Yeah, I usually hate when games are difficult to control for difficulty's sake. This game was no cakewalk in the control scheme territory, but like when you hit a rock in space and your ship's compromised and you're tumbling in 0G, but you know that the solar system's so small that the Earth is sucking you into it. So you only have a matter of time before you just get sucked into the sun. And so you have to get out of your spaceship in 0G, fix it, climb back in, start back up, and hurry up and do something before you get swallowed up by the sun. So like, and all that with like controls that aren't, aren't perfect.
I felt like at the end of that game, if someone held a gun to my head, I'd be able to do a lunar landing. I played that game so much. I'd be like, you know what?
Man,
I have some confidence that I might be able to do this.
One of the co-hosts on our podcast is playing this for the first time right now. And he's like texting me things as he's playing it. And I'm like, oh my God, you have no clue. You have no clue what's going on right now. And that's so good. And he's like wide-eyed exploring this universe. And I am just soaking it up. Meticulously, like going through the details with him, and it's just so much fun to be able to experience this game, kind of knowing what's in the bag now, like what's in the box. Is they've given up the ghost, so to speak. I can let him know, like, hey man, you keep digging around here, you might find what you're looking for. It's just it's a pretty special game.
I desperately wish, and this will be my last little thing to say on it. I desperately wish that I could make people experience the solar station the way I experienced it, because I'd played so much of the game, I'd found so much of the mystery, and then got to the solar station, and you find out like the result of a bunch of these things that the people that you've been exploring their history have tried, and like how those tests broke, good and bad, and it was so shattering just to be like, fuck, I'm on this like pinnacle of creation, like this dude, man.
Can't say too much.
But fuck, dude.
It's definitely.
So is it just the three of us that have, like, I know Ryan, you said you didn't play it. Eric, did you?
I played about an hour of it, and then I was like, "Nope, this is not the game for me."
Sure.
Have you played anything else on the
Now,
I played
anything
Katana
on the
Zero.
list yeah.
Katana Zero
and
is
loved that game.
Yep.
Goose game deserves some. I mean, it's got a lot of
God,
attention
man,
already.
that
I haven't played Goose. I haven't played Creature. I did end up playing a little bit of River City Girl, and I love that one. I don't know if it's that just harkens back to my love of Streets of Rage and those style, Double Dragon and those style of games. But I don't know with the other names on the list that I would put it in Game of the Year contention.
Sure.
Or best indie game.
I love Creature in the Well, but I don't think it holds up to these other ones.
No, it's like David in front of a bunch of Goliaths. Like,
I mean, it's a really cool concept. I think that this doesn't have the same power that the other ones.
I just love how freaking big Goose game got.
Dude,
Goose game's
so
ridiculous.
good.
Yeah,
it's so
Twitter and
good.
everything.
it was
That's
zeitgeist for a minute, for sure.
Yep.
Definitely like best meme of the year probably would be Goose game.
Yeah.
Well, there's two-headed goose in the Rick and Morty intro for season 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There you go.
I mean, like, I think that from what, like, if you guys were just going down for like nerdy bits, what I'm hearing right now would be basically Katana or Outer Wilds are the two that people have had some impact.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Best ongoing game. We have people that compete in most of these, I think. So Apex Legends, Fortnite Chapter 2, Destiny 2, Rainbow Six Siege, Warframe, and Final Fantasy 14. So, Eric, you're
Ben, why don't you go ahead and go first?
I mean, I talk about it every week, so let's just do a clip of all that and smash together, smash cut. No, I think
that would be incredible.
The way that dev team puts energy into its community, the way it streams 5 times a week on every single platform, the fact that it develops all of the updates for that game on every platform and informs everybody every step of the way if it's insert or not, and how long it's going to take to get there, and the fact that the game's about to get turned upside down on its head in a couple weeks with the addition of a ship. It's a crazy year. 2019 was a crazy year for me, Mom, and Innerlight to start playing that game because it was, I don't know, it's an explosive year, and next year is going to be insane too. I just feel like, watching Apex and Fortnite, who have these crazy update schedules where it feels like, every couple of weeks or a month you get something new. I think Warframe is right up there. You get a new toy to play with, a new sandbox, new weapons, new skins. Like it's just a non-stop machine gun of content from Digital Extreme. So love it or hate it, that game is a strong contender for the developers putting out.
No, I got a ton of respect for that game.
Yeah, what an accomplishment to have a game that's now 9 years old.
7.
Mm-hmm.
7 years old.
Yeah.
Like Rainbow Six is moving towards that, but
right before the first Destiny, right?
Yeah, it was like the March before the first Destiny. It was like March.
It was on PC older than that.
It was.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it came to console right before. Yeah. So,
and it was even on PS4 before it was on Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
for sure.
And I'll give credit to Fortnite because it's set the pace for how often you should update a game.
Yep.
Apex obviously changing the game again using that same formula. Destiny, bless their sweet little hearts, they try. And then a lot of these games on the list I'll give credit to, but I, where my vote's going, so I take off my. Somebody take off. Oh, I'm done. Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
I'm a big. I played Warframe with Ben like 1 time, 2 times maybe, and I enjoyed what I did with it. But I'm a Destiny guy. Hate me for it. I can have a refrigerator full of like steak and really good ingredients, but I'm gonna open that freezer up and grab those pizza rolls and that's just kind of how.
That's such a great way of describing that.
Like I just don't want to put the effort in to make this gourmet meal, and I can just warm up for 30 seconds and get a piping hot pizza. And Destiny 2 is Destiny 2 is my hot pocket, man. Destiny 2 is that like handful of string cheese I get at 3 a.m. when I'm walking around the house at night. It is something that I enjoy playing quite a bit. I did like what they did with the the season, and I think that they're getting next week's their next season. I think it's interesting time right now for Bungie, getting out of that terrible shadow from Activision and kind of seeing them find their independence and what they're trying to do to make that game work in a different way. This past year was a big year for them. They introduced cross saves, which was a huge thing for a lot of people, and I thought that was a big win. It should have been there a long time ago. I'd still like to see crossplay, but I do think that either you're in or you're out at this point in time, and I don't know if Destiny going free to play is going to break people away from games like Apex or Fortnite or even Warfare. But I do think that there's some interesting things that they're trying. And again, it's a known quantity for me at this point in time. I've got a lot of time and money invested in that game. And there's still some pretty good pockets on the internet that you can get involved in of people that are supporting that game on a really cool way. Discord channels or even using the app there. I don't think that Bungie is nowhere near as aggressive or even as open as what I've seen, to Ben's point, from the developers around Warframe. And I think that when you have a game as a service, like that is part of the package, right? Like you have to have a dialogue. You have to have that safety net that when other shit in the game is failing, you've got a community and you've got a dialogue that people can fall back on until they can change what's happening in the game. And I do think that's where Destiny kind of shot itself in the foot for a while, is that when the game wasn't meeting the expectation, the community that was around it became pretty toxic and there wasn't a good dialogue happening. So I think when I look at these things, I look at it from a lot of things, like what am I looking for, but also what is the community bringing into it? And I am very envious of what the developers over with Warframe are doing, and even like the pacing that you've seen from Apex and from Fortnite. Like Destiny's playing catch up at that point in time with it. So I'll keep playing Destiny at this point in time because I've got a lot committed to it and I have a good time with it still. That's my pick, but I can definitely see it taking a seat to some of these other ones.
Ryan, have you given Rainbow Six any time this year, or has Apex completely consumed your multiplayer? Apex and Call of Duty completely consumed your multiplayer game?
Yeah, it's been Apex and Call of Duty. But I mean,
Rocket League should probably be in this list too.
Well, yeah, but
yeah. I think so.
I don't know. I don't think they're making as big as moves as everybody thinks. I mean, they do the battle passes and things like that, and
new one started today, didn't it?
Yeah, they released a new one today where they got rid of the keys and crates, so now it's blueprints. They're expensive as fuck.
What
The
do they do with all your old crates?
They turn them into blueprints,
like that you can use.
Yes, but you have to pay money to unlock that blueprint. But you know what you get. That's like nice. The blueprint is for this car.
Right.
It's not a surprise mechanic.
This wheel or something like that.
Yeah.
But like they've got like $25 blueprints. So it's epic. Jeez. It's Fortnite style stuff.
Yep.
But can you get that stuff without paying for it?
No. You can only get it because
$50 Warframe right now, or I can go grind.
Yeah.
For 20 hours and get it.
And the thing is, like, some of the stuff and the way that they're doing it is because the underground trading system on that website that everybody was using, some people were selling some of these top tier stuff for like $120. So, Epic's like, oh shoot, well if somebody's gonna pay $120 for it, we could just slap $20 on it. If they get the blueprint, somebody's gonna buy that for $20 regardless.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's good for them, but like at the same time, I've always said if they do it, like I've always said, if they do microtransactions in games, they set a price and then cut that shit in half, more people would buy it. If the most expensive thing was $10, I would probably buy a few things. I'm never gonna buy anything that's $20. I would.
Is this new for them right now, Ryan? They've not been expensive before, right?
It just rolled out today.
Yeah, it's brand
or yesterday.
They've been talking about it.
What's the community response been? Because I mean, from what you're explaining right now, it doesn't really worth a damn.
I haven't seen any community response just yet. I've only like had conversations with all the guys that I play Rocket League with, and some people are for it, some are against it. Like my buddy was like, "Oh yeah, I've been waiting to get this one skin, and I couldn't find it for cheaper than $60, and I have the blueprint now, so I can pay $20 for it." It's like
sounds like a plus to me, yeah.
But it's like it's just a goal explosion, you know. Like what if you suck at the game and you don't score any goals? You don't get to see that shit.
I've been using the same Christmas goal explosion for 3 years now.
Yeah,
yeah, you have.
This is like that bigger fucking problem that we talked about earlier. These developers and these companies are going to have to figure out how to get money if they're making things free to play or keeping it at $60. We talked about a long time on this show.
Yeah.
This is what happens. This is literally what happens.
Yeah. But I think it's amazing that Rainbow Six Siege is still still putting stuff out, and it's as popular as it is. A lot of people play that game. It's in like top games on Twitch and Mixer all the time.
Yeah.
And like
isn't there like 60 or 70 characters to pick from now?
Oh, there are a lot, and takes I think we broke it down. It's like 200 wins with decent amount of kills get you a new character.
Yeah.
Like,
but see what they do is
it's a lot though.
Yeah. But see what they do is, unlike Apex, unlike Fortnite, unlike Rocket League, what they do is they release 2 characters every like 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So you could spend $20 and get both characters, and you're good for 3 months. After that, you're spending money on cosmetic shit, and like
it's exactly what Warframe does.
I would do that. I would be like, all right, $20, so I get what are the new ones, Moai and Kali or something like that. I would do that. Here's $20. Take those 2 characters, because Ryan and I were, when we were playing it, and I wasn't playing it nearly as much as he and his friends were. We did the math. We won 10 games in an hour, and made 5,000 credits, and the character unlocks were 35,000 credits, and it was like.
So if you were just playing through it, you're saying like for $20, so essentially $80 a year gets you all the characters they put out. Essentially,
basically,
right?
Yeah.
And then you can buy into the game like now, and get like the year 2 edition that comes with all of year 1 and 2's characters for
like a season pass type thing.
Well, it's not so much a season pass as much as they separate the content they release by the year that they release it in. So there's year 1, and it came with 8 characters, and then year 2 was 12 characters, and then year 3 is another 12. Got it. Okay. If you buy the year 3, it's more expensive than the base $60, but you're gonna get everything that's released since then. There are like $150, $200 versions of this game in the Xbox store.
That's fucking crazy to me.
Yeah,
that's absolutely crazy to me.
So who do you think deserves this title, guys?
I would say between Fortnite and Siege. I don't think Apex is in it.
I think it's too new for Apex. Early. I think they're more. Yeah.
Okay.
What Fortnite did this year really dropped the bomb on everybody too. I mean, I feel like that was a big appeal for some people.
Their world exploding, and then
it was really neat.
Ooh,
it was really cool.
So if we're going to talk about PR moves like Apex just dropping, that's a big one. That Fortnite we're closed for 30 hours, and incredible.
Yeah,
I think that. Sorry, Eric. Go ahead, man.
I wanted everybody to go first before I started doting on Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, here we go. Everybody sit back.
So,
take me to school, Eric.
This was a game that launched and was hot garbage, trash.
It was a shit sandwich.
They did what Fortnite did this year, what Epic did. They destroyed their world in a most epic fashion, took the game offline for 6 months. Yes, epic fashion, pun intended.
Mm-hmm. That's what you did there.
Yeah. Took the game offline for 6 months, re-rolled it out as A Realm Reborn to critical acclaim. And it has been.
Happen?
Do you
remember?
5 years ago?
Like
6 years ago?
2013?
Yeah. And it has been gaining audience ever since, and it is still rivaling. It's still rivaling WoW for the #1 MMO spot. And it is a paid subscription on a monthly basis, which in the world of free to play,
Right.
they have produced enough content to continually and keep iterating on their content and putting systems in that keep everybody coming back, that make it
Fat
worth
chocobos, man.
Yeah, fat chocobos. Exactly. They added 2 new races with the Shadowbringers expansion this week or this year.
Whatever.
Yeah.
The guy Fieries.
Yeah. Which is those are kind of
Flavor Town, man. Take me to Flavor Town Final Fantasy.
But
pizzas
I think
are
it
just
deserves
the manholes of Flavor Town. Manhole covers of Flavor Town.
If you stack it up in sheer form of in terms of popularity against Fortnite and Apex, right? I don't think you're going to get there because it's not, Final Fantasy's not drawing the numbers, but I think it deserves a long, hard look. And I'm the only one in the group that's played it, but it's coming to Xbox, so maybe that will change.
Yeah.
Which I'm very excited.
Game Pass, right?
Is it, if it's in Game Pass? Does Game Pass cover the subscription?
I don't know.
No,
I think that's
you the game and just pay your money on that. I bet.
Yeah, it may cover the cost of the base game.
Isn't that how ESO is? It's included with some part of that, or it was
anymore, is it?
You can pay a monthly thing for it.
You can pay a monthly and get like premium.
Shit.
Yeah, shit.
I bet you that's what they're going to do, something like that, Eric.
Yeah, that's probably why they're delayed and they're working to bring Final Fantasy 11 and Final Fantasy 14
it's like
to
Fallout,
Xbox One.
It's like Fallout first.
Yeah. So yeah, I think even with the critical acclaim that Shadowbringers got, it's an MMO that once again it pulls you into the story in a way that no MMO ever has that I've played. So,
all right, so that's a pretty open book. I didn't mention this, but I'm going to put together a Google form after the episode tonight and send it out. So over the next week we can get a fan award, a fan series of awards, and then our awards like queued up, and we'll continue to discuss this after the show to like figure out what we want to pick for our things. So we're not making many big decisions tonight, although we kind of have settled on Outer Worlds and Apex for indie and multiplayer respectively. But anyway, we're gonna keep moving through them, and we're gonna probably speed up a little bit since we've been lingering a lot.
I think a lot we're getting into categories where a lot of the titles are repeats, so we don't have to go into.
Yeah, we did the big get into the nitty gritty categories first. So let's dive. Where do you want to go next?
Just go straight down the list.
Okay. We were dancing for a second, so
or straight up the list.
Straight. We'll start from the bottom.
I'm not looking at the same document you are. I'm looking at the one that's on Discord.
Best game direction. We've got Control, Death Stranding, and Outer Wilds. See, I don't think so. Control's amazing and beautiful and has incredible vision, like artistic and narrative and directorial vision. But there's not really anything that comes close to what a Kojima produced game feels like. Like there's such a different level of what feels like actual directorial influence in a Kojima game. And like,
yeah, I think of a directed game, I think of like Uncharted or God of War, right?
Sure.
That's what I think. I think of a directed game. Unfortunately, that's pretty.
Wasn't God of War this year?
No,
last year.
No, it was last year. Okay, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that like Outer Wild, like so we're on the list here. You got Control, Death Stranding, Outer Wilds. Was there any other I'm missing? That
I just added Jedi Fallen Order.
Fair, that's totally fair.
Right.
I don't know. Like I look at like a game like Outer Wild. We were just praising it a minute ago, but it's kind of like a Rube Goldberg at this point. You got to trigger a bunch of shit, which like that's cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that like is the best direction because it still is like up to like how you trying to spring. I think that Kojima, there's a level of polish that he's brought to that Death Stranding game is really wild, and I think narratively speaking, I think the story itself is pretty much garbage. But I do think that like the other pieces that are going on with it are really interesting. Like the world is compelling to be in. Like they've made a fucking Amazon delivery guy a game. People like it. Like there's something to be said about.
Dude, Kojima
whether
made
it's
the world's first actual walking sim. Everyone said Firewatch was a walking sim, or Gone Home was a walking sim.
Mm-hmm.
This literally makes you keep your balance while you're walking.
But I don't know, like, so I haven't finished this game. A lot of the voices that I tend to tune into every week that has, and like people that are in my little bubble of the universe that I talk to on a pretty regular basis that have finished that game are absolutely turned off by like how off the rails it gets. And so I just don't know, like I can't speak with certainty on Death Stranding. Everything I've heard, even people who are like saying this is my game of the year that I'm friends with, are saying like the game has got a garbage story. It needed an editor. So like for me, if you're a pure creative director and you don't have somebody checking your work, like you're kind of shitting the bed in a way. And I don't know.
Lucas.
Absolutely. So I think that for me, Death Stranding takes a seat to Control. But it is some like the fact that Death Stranding got made in itself, that is a story to me that is worth celebrating. But I don't know if best directing is really where I see it. But that's my humble opinion.
I think Star Wars deserves a nod for its sorry, choking on my spit. I think it deserves a nod for its ability to create such a perfect window into Star Wars. Like nothing about that game didn't feel like Star Wars.
No. Nothing about it felt like something new, unfortunately. But it does feel, like I said before off camera, if this was called Jedi Outcast 3, everybody would have been like, yup, that makes complete sense. Like, it fits right into the old lineage of old Star Wars games. And we haven't had anything like this in the Star Wars universe in a very, very long time.
Yeah. Mandalorian and Jedi Fallen Order are the two Star Wars things made in the last 10 years that people haven't been arguing about.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that, I'm going to lean in a lot tonight on Control, but when I look at what they've learned as a studio and how they've told their story over the course of several games and what
I do love Remedy.
They've put and like how they have created, like I don't think that I've experienced. There's like maybe two other games I can think of this generation that has made such a compelling place to play, and I think that what they've did and the lore that they did in it, like I've not played something where the intention between like what you redacted on an email and how your mind filled in the gaps there to little bits of audio logs that tell more about it. Like when you think about a world building and direction that goes in, like the performances you see in the game aside, I think that what they built in that game is absolutely fantastic. And the direction that went into it, the thought, like everything in that game, a purpose. And like it's very, very, very clear that they tapped into something. They got lightning in a bottle, and there's probably a moment in time for 3-year period when they were in development where it all just kind of jive. Pick your favorite record, pick your favorite, where the creative process behind that was just lined up. And you all know what I'm talking about when you're in it, and you just go with it and you write it out. And the finished product for Control, I think, is just absolutely fucking bonkers and good.
I think the thing that super sold that, I was already super into it, but what sold that game for me was coming across the Dark Disquiet room. Did you find that room?
Yeah.
I was like, there's lyrics to a song written on the wall, and then you hit play on a monitor and walk into this giant room with acoustic foam and giant speakers, and you can listen to this full song. I think I listened to that song for like a week after that, like once a day.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It just fits so perfectly with the mood of that game. That game's incredible.
That's my vote. But
first time you go to the Black Rock Quarry, I was like, oh fuck, this isn't okay. That's not what I was expecting. The whole game's that. All right. Best.
Eric? Hold on, Eric.
What? Do you have an opinion in these?
I haven't played on any game on the best direction list, so I can't.
But
I mean,
have you played something this year that you think would fit that category?
No, not out of those. Not standing up to those.
I see.
So
All right.
yeah.
All right. Ryan?
Ryan.
No,
He just shook his head.
no, sorry, I was muted. I didn't want to ignore. No, I mean I don't really play anything with substance. So
Well put.
Okay.
Well,
I play.
how do we delineate that from best narrative? I guess the message, right?
Sure, yeah. Because I would say that I haven't finished Jedi Fallen Order, so I don't know how that narrative ties up.
So, for those listening, since we haven't said anything yet, we've got Control, Death Stranding, Outer Worlds, not Wilds, Jedi Fallen Order, and Gris.
Grease.
Man, Grease fucked me up.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, like for those of you who are uninitiated, it came out, I think, December of last year. That game is built around the 5 stages of Grease, and each level represents a different form of that and like a process of it. I think of it more of like a game with impact, but I absolutely understand what like where it's in this category here when it comes to the narrative. It's definitely hard to argue with. Like I think that they did it in a really interesting way. But man, that game was visually just a triumph. But then when you understand what they're teaching you with no dialogue and no tooltips or anything like that, it's all felt. That takes a lot to do from a narrative when you don't have something as like ham-fisted as we have to make America great again with bridges. We have to connect America. We are handcuffed to our cell phones. Like legitimately, that thing was fucking garbage. But when you look at a game with the elegance of like Greece or one of these other games on here, man, like the narrative it's a little bit harder to see it start, but when you see it, it's really, really, really.
I really want Hideo Kojima and Neil Blomkamp to make a movie together because the heavy-handedness of their storytelling might cancel itself out. we'll just get a movie of shapes.
I don't think the universe could handle that.
No.
We'd end up with a Fortnite-style black hole wherever the studio was being filmed, and that would just be it.
Being made.
Yep.
Everyone, they caused the Death Stranding.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, so I put a lull next to Death Stranding since I haven't beat it, and Bob
I don't expect that game
to
have a narrative thread.
A ball of nonsense.
That makes sense.
So,
did you guys play Outer Worlds?
I played a little bit of it.
I'm about 20 hours into it, and it's
about 10 hours of it.
Fucking hysterical.
Yeah, it's a good
so
time.
fun.
Every time I turn it on, and there's just some conversation I get into that is just so off the cuff.
Yeah.
And completely
That's an interesting one from like narrative because like you could play that game so differently.
That's true.
And get a completely different experience.
Yeah.
Or you could beat it in 12 minutes. I mean,
yeah.
I feel like there's probably a few independent games that had a pretty decent narrative that we didn't get our hands on.
Katana Zero had a fucking great story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sayonara Wild Hearts had a pretty cool narrative to it also.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, what do you guys think? Like, I've fucking been on the teat of Control pretty heavily here, but
I mean, if a game mops up all the awards, then so be it. It sounds I missed Control, but from what I hear, I think it's a strong contender.
Yeah, Remedy's just got a talent, dude. Remedy's got a talent for narrative, man.
Yeah, I mean, Jedi Fallen Order was just a Star Wars game. It didn't really have a message. The finale was one of the best game endings I can remember.
Oh boy,
I'll say that.
I haven't gotten there yet. I need to. By the way,
I was playing with Caleb in the party. I was just like, "What?
Yeah.
What?"
He kept going, "Oh my god!" And I'd be like, "Shut up!"
Damn!
That game finished as strong as it started, and that's saying something.
Right, man. Yeah.
All right.
But it didn't really, best narrative. It was good. No, it was good. I'm going to give it a little bit more credit. It was good. The captain was cool. The person who dragged you into the
I love
George
Grease.
Costanza.
Grease is great.
Yeah.
Grease Costanza.
It was great. You're the lady. I'm not going to spoil what she is. She did a great job. It was very well acted, better than the main guy, I might add. I had to say. So I don't know. That game had a good story. It was a good pull. I don't know if it holds up to Control or Grease, but.
All right.
Did you, Ben? Have you played Grease?
No, I've watched it and I've heard almost the exact same thing you said today from someone else last night.
Yeah, that game did come out in December last year, and I avoided it.
Yeah, sure.
Because of events last year.
Yeah.
That I did not want to stir up in December. But I do want to go after it.
It's fair.
Okay, so next is Best Art Direction, which is different than Best Direction in that art direction is the best executed artistic vision for a world.
Okay, I know this horse is 3/4 dead already, but I love the way Death Stranding looks.
Death Stranding is really
it's very pretty. The streams I've watched.
Very pretty.
Yeah, an all-black suit with a gold mask. Done.
You'll never find a better looking Monster Energy drink in any game.
or you'll never find a better ad for Norman Reedus' The Ride.
It is the best looking Monster Energy drink. It looks better than the shit I can go get at the fucking gas station around the corner from my house. It's good looking Monster Energy.
Okay, so we have Control, Death Stranding, Sayonara Wild Hearts, Link's Awakening, Grease, and Katana Zero.
It's a stacked deck, fellas.
What'd you say?
What about?
It's a stacked deck.
You said something. You said
dick.
It's a stacked dick for me, boys. So
could be that too. I'm not here to kink shame.
Don't no one's yums, man.
I just got some new soft clothes in the mail today too. So
I'm wearing my soft clothes.
Put them on. We're getting into it.
So Control's art direction is very united and very copacetic. It all feels very there. But like I think it's kind of niche. Like brutalist architecture isn't.
No, dude, I'm obsessed with it. Like, yes. I don't think I took more screenshots in any game this year.
Oh my god, the first time I walked into a room and the name of the room went in big bold letters. I was like, this game knows my love languages.
Yeah, like it's totally speaking to me, which is great. Captions. But like I don't know if it stands up when it comes to like some of these other ones that are intentionally like out with an artistic message. Not to belittle what Control's doing, but
I showed a screenshot to my wife and was like, look how beautiful this is. And she was like, it's ugly. And I was like, oh, some people don't like brutalist architecture and harsh lighting. And that's that game.
Sayonara Wild Hearts is just sort of like a K-pop video with neon lights and hand illustrated crazy shit happening, anime nonsense. So
some manic pixie daydream.
I think
it's beautiful.
I felt the exact same way, and I still do to a degree. I read some art about that game's representation and what it was doing with bisexuality, and how all the color palette in that game was used to represent the flag that is associated with bisexuality. And I thought that was a really cool thing that they did with it. Yeah. Like that's awesome. Yeah. But again, like, yes, it's a K-pop video 100%. It's cool that they had a theory behind the intention with it like that. I thought that was neat, but I agree.
That adds something to me, you know. But
for sure. That's interesting. I didn't realize that. I mean, it makes sense, but I did not.
Every color in that game is is a part of that particular flag. And in the way that they designed the main character to be a bit more fluid and neutral, so to speak, and how you could identify as male, you could identify as female, you could identify as non-binary, and still find placement in what they were trying to achieve with the characters, not only that you were, but also the ones that you had a romantic relationship with, which I thought that was pretty fucking cool. At the end of the day, like, I think we've seen some similar things. If we're being hypercritical of like just the art behind it, like that polygonal based, hyper-colored, stylized, like Ben nailed it, K-pop video, like we've seen that a few already.
Yeah. Katana Zero was the freshest take on cyberpunk. 8-bit cyberpunk I've seen in a minute.
Yeah, man.
It didn't captivate me, to be honest.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, as the game gets further in,
I like.
Did you play it all the way through?
No.
I'm gonna say, does this make sense if I say it this way? That game had style and it had art.
Say that one more time.
Does that make sense?
It had more style than it had art.
It had more style than it had art.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah, for sure. Because it was all the
It was
nuance.
a
It was all
heavy
the
glowing
nuanced
overlays
stuff.
and
And like how you would hit play on your fucking Walkman, and like the combination of what
Dude,
you
him
were
putting his
seeing
headphones in and the music going.
yeah, like that's like more stylistic to me. Like that's a very intentional, heavy-handed move, and like that whole package. Like
the
that
pause
game
menu
has
was
style
an
for
old VCR
days.
menu.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, and you could say like there was an art direction behind it, which I'm probably digging myself in a hole here. Like it was more stylistic and more visual than it was like art to me.
Sure. I can get down with that.
So as far as cream of the crop, do we stack up Death Stranding with Grease?
I do want to give a little shout out to Link's Awakening because that thing looked like an interactive diorama. Like it looked Duplo toys, I think is what those called.
Okay.
I'm talking about like a shoebox type deal. Like to make a game that is what 25, 30 years old, something like that. Feel as fresh as they did and give it that like that game looked. I physically felt like I could reach into the screen and move pieces around and like make it look like a little Lego diorama or something like.
Right? Is that why?
It had that tilt shift on it, which was crazy.
Yep. It's the Game of Thrones. It's the Game of Thrones intro.
And they took all the music in that game, and this is getting back into style rather than art, but they took all the music game and they modernized it and gave it like a full orchestral approach, which I thought was really
like modernized dubstep.
Yeah, it's all remixed. It's Sayonara Link's Hearts. That's Cadence of Hyrule, and we'll get into that shit in a little bit.
Yes.
But yeah, it's I think that it's down to Death Stranding and Grease.
Okay. So we talked about Cadence of Hyrule. That is in the next category, which is best score / music. Eric
Borderlands 3.
has
Move
a
on.
pretty strong argument for Borderlands 3. Please defend
Borderlands
yourself.
3. Move on. It is. They just released a soundtrack on iTunes and Spotify, and if you are looking for just 5 hours of unbelievably fucking good music,
really,
add it to your playlist. Okay. It goes through the game from the start menu all the way through the boss fight and over the 5 hours. And it's literally 5 hours of music straight in that game. And I've listened to it on every walk with the dog over the last couple of weeks. And I still am hearing things for the first time. And you miss so much of it in the game because of the effects and the shout outs and the, what your characters are doing. And then the dialogue.
The bad jokes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get
we're
it.
We're not gonna go down that. We're not gonna go down that road, Bobby. We're just gonna leave it.
I know.
Michael McCann, Jesper Kidd.
What? Michael McCann?
Yeah.
Fuck. I need to listen to this.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
If Michael McCann scored the City world and it feels anything like Deus Ex, yeah, sold.
Mm-hmm. It does. He did Prometheus and he did Electricity.
Jeez, 86 songs in that soundtrack.
Yeah, and he did. He also came back and did the Raid that you just had now. Yeah. Okay. So we're ready to move on to best performance, guys.
Okay. See, for me, I think. Oh, go ahead, Bobby.
No. You take it, man.
Okay. So for me, my first thought, and the reason it is my first thought, is the number of times I've come back to it. It's Anthem. Anthem's soundtrack is so...
The only good thing of that game.
I sold copies of that game on Black Friday because it was $5, purely based on the fact that Anthem Next is coming.
Yeah. And
that it might actually fix the game. And if it does, $5 is real good for $60 worth of content.
If they're pulling...
What?
You said you said it might actually be good. That's all conjecture. We don't know. It's just
no.
Okay,
yeah, sure.
Yeah. I was gonna say if they do what Square did with Final Fantasy 14 and they have a really cool world-ending event, the Cataclysm fucking happens.
Well, and they can't follow Fortnite now.
No, Final Fantasy did it first.
Well, yeah, Final Fantasy did it first. That
do you
play a lot of us didn't even know about. Then Fortnite did it that now everybody knows about.
So Anthony could shoot a puppy if it would fix it. I'd be okay with it. Like they need to do something. Yeah, whether they blow the world. Like I'll take. Now they can literally do anything they want to fix that fucking game. I will I will beg them. Do
Judges
do what you can.
ruling on shooting a puppy. Nope, we would have gone with sacrifice a puppy, not shooting a puppy.
Oh God, that music was good.
You wanted to mention Cadence?
Yeah, man. So this is
The music is real good, kids.
Oh my God. So again, to go back to it, I'm a huge fan of Zelda. We've done a few episodes where we talked about the sound of video game music, and I always bring something from the Legend of Zelda series and to have remixed and done in a way that flows. So like that game, it's so crazy, man. Like the overworld, you can bounce between the overworld when you're just like navigating through it. You go into an area and you've got if you clear the enemies out, there's multiple layers. Even if you go into the start menu, how they've recorded the same song in so many different variations that it fluidly changes between, and that it's a game that is completely based off of rhythm. I mean, it's hard for me not to just like put all my love and support into that category for this game because of what it did. But that soundtrack fucking slaps so hard. And it is, to what Ben said earlier.
So I pulled up a clip of this shit. I'm going to play Gerudo Valley, if that works, Bobby. Can you hear me?
I can't hear it right now.
Oh, no, I didn't play it yet. I just
yeah.
You
said I'm going to play it.
Hold on, it gets...
We can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, it's not playing. What happened? Did he mute his mic?
Did Discord auto mute?
Hello?
There it is.
Hello?
What?
Now you're back.
Could you not hear this?
No.
Nope. See, the fact that you loaded something to your computer and then picked up your phone.
Can you hear this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's gone.
Now you're gone again. We're being real-time copyright edited.
Oh, they are.
We might
Nintendo's watching.
That's weird.
Welcome back, guys.
The Glockenspiel boss. That if you can find the Glockenspiel boss, that's the for that game. That's my standout track. But I think that there's so much good on this list, but the Glockenspiel track I go back to on Cadence a lot, and that one was really cool.
They could hear it on stream, but they couldn't hear. You guys couldn't hear it. Like you can't hear it at all. It's not there.
No.
You heard it, then it would cut in and then
it's cutting in and out.
Cut your voice out too. So
yeah. Okay, wait, no, it's over. We're moving on.
All right, okay, move on. Borderlands 3 is the winner of that one.
Cadence of Hyrule soundtrack is very, very, very good, and it's a game built on music. So I am willing to hear the argument for its score being on the list. Anthem soundtrack though, man. Ooh.
It is it's very good.
Anthem's good, man. Breaks my heart.
I think it's just
who do we think deserves it the most? If we're gonna put our name on one of these,
Borderlands.
Right?
I would
sign with Eric, even though I haven't heard any of it.
I'm going for the underdog. The guy that put together the soundtrack for Cadence. And there's one little other thing I'll throw out there that I think that kind of does it for me. So there's a shopkeeper in Cadence of Hyrule, and he is he's an opera singer, I'm sorry. And anytime that you go into it, whatever song you're hearing from The Legend of Zelda, he is belted in this operatic fashion. And this fucking YouTuber decided that he was going to try and recreate this, and he nailed it. And so much so that there's actually it's either out in the game now through a patch or they're bringing it in. You'll be able to load this guy into the soundtrack and have this YouTuber who's like dubbing over the operatic parts of the game into the actual video game itself. And so the pool that made the soundtrack for that game is so fucking tiny. I'm rooting for them in that sense. So like for me, that's where I am putting my vote. But like I respect what Eric said because I played Borderlands 3 and the music was very good in that. Same with Anthem, but Cadence is the one.
All right.
Cool. Who did the soundtrack for that game so that I can... Is it on iTunes?
It is on iTunes. It's the same guy that did Crypt of the Necromancer. Let's see here. I can't remember his name. It's slipping my mind right now.
He did the Crypt of the Necrodancer though.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the exact same crew. Let me see if I can.
Danny Baranowski?
It's Danny. Yeah. Yep.
Dope.
That's him.
Yeah, I need this. All right. Okay. So that's that one's a little bit of a toss up, but that's good. Competition's good. Not one game. One game can't rule them all. Sayonara Wild Hearts, by the way, I agree with Ben. To go back to what Ben said, it felt like a K-pop video.
Yeah.
The music
Everything
was
I watched on it.
the music was good, but the songs felt too short. And I know that once you beat that game, you can do album mode where you just play nonstop. I feel like that should have been like the initial setup. Like it should have just been like constant, like go until you want to stop. But with that, whatever. Best vocal perform. What?
We might have to start like putting these into a larger magazine and putting it on full auto. There's a lot of this list left. Have you scrolled down?
We're like more than oh boy. Okay, we'll go quicker. Okay. Best vocal performances. I threw up Ashley Birch from Outer Worlds, Laura Bailey from Gears, Norman Reedus from the Death Stranding, Cameron Monaghan as Cal Kestis in Star Wars, and Elizabeth Grullon as the second sister in Jedi. Bobby said that we needed to add the dude that plays Dr.
Casper Darling.
Dr.
From
Darling
Control.
from Control, because he's incredible. Eric, you were going to say we left someone off?
We need to add, what's her name from Call of Duty, too? Farrah.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
I put that on the list before.
Because that was...
Yep.
She kept me engaged that entire campaign. I mean, Captain Price is awesome. Alex was great. But her performance was just the whole time. I was like, man, I'm opening the safe over here, and I'm gonna go hop a plane and join her forces.
Yeah,
she has inspired me.
Nice.
That might be my pick. I really liked Ashley Birch in Outer Worlds.
Ashley Birch is just solid. Everything she does.
And Parvati's character is really well written too.
Yeah.
So.
And Laura Bailey was great as Kat Diaz. I think. She definitely gets a nod there.
Yeah.
Claudia Dumit is played Farrah. So,
thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, she was great.
Oh man, let's just look up Casper Darling Dynamite. That's it. That's all.
Okay.
For me.
It's I loved all those videos, but man,
they're so good.
They're so good. Okay, best mobile game. Moving through it. Who played mobile games this year?
Grindstone.
I think Ryan should take this category.
Yeah, the best console, Ryan. Console of the year coming from
best pocket console.
The funny thing is, I started playing mobile games a while back, and
yep,
hell yeah. Yeah,
he came to Bobby. He came to my place playing games on his iPad, and I was like, "You motherfucker!"
I was playing
Call of Duty Mobile.
I was playing Stardew Valley. Come on now.
Yeah, buddy.
Doesn't matter what you're playing. Doesn't matter what you're playing. It's where you're
me.
playing. Doesn't matter what you're playing.
Assemble with Care and Grindstone are the winners.
So yeah, Grindstone's the shit. That game's incredible. I had so much fun playing that game, and I beat it like a couple weeks ago, and now I'm sad because I don't want to. I have nothing else to do with Grindstone. I hope they release more levels and more mechanics. What the Golf is also a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Best action game. We've got Breakpoint, Devil May Cry 5, Gears of War, Division 2, Call of Duty, and Apex. I don't know if Breakpoint counts as action because of its two forms. You can play it as stealth or action. I wouldn't throw Dishonored into the action games.
I've been wanting to say this since before we started recording. This year is just kind of, like
it's a transition year.
Last year we had Spider-Man and God of War.
Yep.
And many others. And this
yeah, man.
Like, look at this list: Ghost Recon, Devil May Cry, Gears of War, Division, Call of Duty, and Apex.
It's
DMC5 was great.
DMC5 is my pick for this category.
Yeah.
It's
pure action.
It was from fucking head to toe. That we could also add as an honorable mention in fucking best soundtrack, because the soundtrack in that is fucking awesome.
Also style. It's got some style too.
That's true. Mad style, yeah.
Mad style.
That fucking voice shouting your score is never gonna get old.
Nope.
Sarcastic.
And isn't there a mode where it's the guy, NBA Jam on that? I'm pretty sure that's a mode.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is.
It is a mode on that game where you have the guy from NBA calling out your fucking shit, which is so good. Ugh.
He's on fire. It's
oh my god, it's so good.
It's so good. I'm dying. Yeah.
How many people here played through Gears?
I did.
I made it like 3/4.
Okay, not a contender.
I heard it was a good Gears game. I didn't play through all of it, but I heard it was.
It's definitely a contender. But when you put it up against for pure action against Devil May Cry, I think Devil May Cry just gives it the edge, just because it was
sure.
Sword Joe.
It was Devil May Cry was its return
Joe.
to form.
And Eric, isn't there like in Gears like a lot of downtime where you're just like sledding, or is it like cool runnings or something at that point in time?
It's the open world concept that they added in there was great. I thought it was really cool. It felt barren. It was not. Yeah,
that's it.
There was things to do on the maps, but it wasn't enough to make it really open world feeling. Right,
like things popping up instead of defining points.
Yeah, if it was populated more and there were just bands of enemies roaming around that you kill, that would be great. But yeah, it was basically like, oh, cool, I found another point. Shit's gonna pop out of the ice, or shit's gonna pop out of the sand, and I'm gonna shotgun it or chainsaw it to death, or it's gonna eat me, and we're done.
Well, they made the sled look so cool. All it had was a freaking tracker on it. It had a big cannon looking thing when you saw it in like the trailer and all that. And then you go to sit on this thing, it's going to be like a freaking rail gun or something. And you're like, oh, the point's over there. Like, what?
Yeah.
That's freaking weird.
I mean, shit, like fucking Rage 2, a game that was supposed to be Mad Max. Like, here we are not even bringing that up now. Just
I played that game
lament
for 5
about
hours
it.
and uninstalled it.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that like New Dawn had some really cool moments, but I don't know if there was enough between, like, to say, like, hey, that was the best action contender. Like, to Ben's point, I think that this year has had some, like, the high points have been pretty high, but the rest of it has been adequate at best.
I think it's also compacted by the fact that so many of us are looking forward. Like, Control was dope. Yeah, fucking.
Yeah, it's the year before. It's the year before
Outer Worlds was dope, but yeah, like everyone's playing games right now, and but Cyberpunk's in like 4 months.
Yeah, and you've got new consoles next fall.
Last of Us 2 is in May.
Guys, some of the best games ever made were on the last year of a console before the new console comes out.
Right, but this has been
hold on, name some.
GTA.
Halo.
Which Halo?
Last of Us would be one that came out months before the PS4 did.
So Last of Us. Halo 4 and 5 have not been greatest hits games. So those don't count.
What I was going to say is this has been a weird console cycle, and I think what you're seeing is Microsoft doubling down on their studio purchases and saving those for the console launch, and Sony, all of their giant, tentpole AAA studios that crushed it last year are deep into new dev cycles, and they're not ready to share yet, and we're going to see all those on PS5. Yeah, so it's a weird time, but I don't want to get into that.
See, here's where it gets interesting though, Ben, because action adventure, these games are all fucking dope. Control, Sekiro, Jedi Fallen Order, Metro Exodus, and Greedfall. And I think Remnant from the Ashes should be in here too. I don't know if anybody else in this fucking chat played that game, but that game was outstanding.
You guys were gushing about it for a good solid 2 weeks.
Yeah, we played it like nonstop for 2 weeks. What's up? They came out right before Control. And then Borderlands was right after that.
No, it was Borderlands. That's what it was. Okay. It was Borderlands is what pulled my attention from it. I want to go back to it.
That game was super good. Now it's on Game Pass. So everybody can play it.
That's a great home for that game, man. There's so much quality on that.
Yeah, there was a lot of what the fuck moments in that game. Like, what the hell did we just walk into?
Oh man, walking into a room with a fucking giant bone dragon, and being like, wait, what?
And I think that this was a year too of like finesse. Like, we'll talk about it in other parts of the show, I'm sure. But like, fuck, Game Pass and like Game Pass Ultimate coming out, Game Pass on PC coming out, like the amount of like planning that went into some of the stuff that came out this year to whoever said it on here looking forward, you know, this stacking the deck to get things ready. Like this year has been a gigantic deep breath, and I think that we're about to turn the corner for an exhale.
Yeah. Well, Phil Spencer tweeted today that he's taken his Project Scarlet home, and it is his primary console now. He said it.
Well, good for you, Phil.
Yeah.
Fucking dick.
He was like,
"Where's ours?"
He's like, and so it begins. This console is now my official primary, and next year's gonna be incredible. So you know, yeah, it's
I got the cash.
It's about
ready
to
to
go
go.
down.
Give me the pre-order. It's gonna be
best RPG. Astral Chain? That's not an RPG.
Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds, yeah. Disco Elysium. Disco Elysium's winning that for me. That game fucking rules.
I'm super excited to play that game. I just gotta wait for it to not be on PC. Sure. I know that they said it's coming to console. I will fit that game into an already daunting 2020. But everything I've heard about that game, Caleb, has like, yep. That's what I want.
I didn't think RPGs could do what it does. Like, I'm frequently I'm going to go see what I can do over here, and there's a bunch of shit to do, and it's like, oh.
It harkens back to a lot of the earlier shit, though. Like, it's a kind of a return to a lot of ways to some of those earlier days of BioWare and a few other things as far as, like, some of the core mechanics from what I've been seeing. And I think that's super fucking rad. Like, that's what I'm here for. That's why I'm here. Please give it to me.
Yeah.
But
dude, in the first 5 minutes, I failed an acrobatics test to get my tie down from a ceiling fan, and I lost like motivation, and I couldn't like, it wounded my psyche, and I couldn't do things in the next conversation I had because my drunk ass fucked up getting my tie from the ceiling fan.
Yeah, man, I think that game's got some really cool ideas behind. Fully understand and support the commentary around it being a winner in this category. I just haven't played it, so I got to take a step back.
Sure, for sure. RPGs were pretty slow this year. Like Outer Worlds was the first one I thought really fit into that category.
Oh, I didn't mean to put Astral Chain. I meant to put Code Vein.
Oh, Code Vein.
Oh yeah. That was the kind of Souls-like, right? Souls-light. So
I've heard a lot more good stuff about Code Vein.
You're a vampire, right?
Yes. And if you indulge too much, you become a mindless fiend. Best strategy game. We got Fire Emblem 3 Houses, War Groove, Planet Zoo? Question mark?
God, Fire Emblem 3 Houses is so fucking good.
Muted, Eric.
Fucking Discord.
Yep. I wish I had a Switch to play Fire Emblem. I need a Switch still.
Man, so let me just throw this out there really quick, guys. Like, that game, there's so much that you do from, like, you can legitimately take anybody in your class and you get to determine what their skill tree is going to be. So they might show up being this hulking person, but you can end up making them like a magic user, really finesse them into it. You can teach them as the instructor of the classroom, but then you can go and you can recruit other people from other classes to come over into your house. And the finesse that you have to do from like a social relationship standpoint. So you're managing this social construct in that game. You're developing the skill sets on multiple students, but also working on like trust and respect at the same time. And then you get into the fucking mechanics of combat, and you got this chessboard of all these moving pieces, and you can even turn on permadeath and to like lose an actual student, and like they're fucking gone. Like the amount of pieces that go into that puzzle, it is so fucking good. And the story, just the 3 houses, how you can pick any of those and how they intertwine with one. Like that is one of my game of the year contenders, first of all. Nice. But from a strategy standpoint, it is just really, really well done on how you can play that game.
It seems like the perfect mix of XCOM and Massive Chalice that I was looking for. But
then you sprinkle a little Persona 4 and 5 on top of it too.
Sexy.
Yeah.
Cool. I only played Fractions of War Groove, but I know a lot of people like that game.
Yeah, Chucklefish did some cool stuff with that.
Yeah, and then Ryan, you play a lot of Planet Zoo. Farming Simulator might be on here for Ryan. Speaking of strategy and building. No?
No.
Why not?
There's not much strategy to it.
Interesting. There's not.
They have mods out there where you can do like seasons, and then because it doesn't automatically have seasons in that game, but you can make it to where it is, so you have to build.
That seems like a miss in a farming game.
Yeah, I know. It's very difficult how they have it set up though. Like the seasons mod is still buggy, that kind of thing.
Sure.
But it's different. You got to plant different stuff during different times. But no, I never played Planet Zoo.
You played what zoo game did you play?
I played Planet Tycoon.
Zoo Tycoon,
which is Planet Tycoon is or Planet Coaster is what I played. It's the roller coaster one.
I didn't play anything about Planet, but I did see a guy holding the sign that said Google Planet X. Does that count for anything?
I don't know.
Moving on.
Outlanders is also a super dope strategy game on mobile that is an Apple Arcade and is very good. Best family game: CTR, Luigi's Mansion, Unravel 2, Super Mario Maker 2. I'm voting CTR. Crash Team Racing coming back was the greatest thing that happened to me this year.
Super Smash Brothers.
Luigi's Mansion 3, I played that with my good buddy Johnny's kid. And one of the things about that's really neat is that Luigi is completely controllable at any moment in that game. And so if you are playing that specifically like couch co-op or even online, like Luigi has the ability to respawn multiple times over. I know Vinny from Bombcast, him and his son were playing this game together quite a bit. And hearing him talk about some of the trials and tribulations they came across, but then being able to play that together. I think that it does some really cool things with co-op. It's a really fun game, and I think it's got a really cool system with that. Like you can just kind of drop in and drop out. So it's like, remember when you would get Caleb, you probably handed Caleb a controller at some point in his life that wasn't connected to, and he probably button mashed the fuck out of it.
Ben never handed me controllers. He just said watch.
And Caleb does the same thing to his friends.
Yeah. And so it's like, imagine that, but and where Luigi could be controlled with it. It's really fucking cool, man. Like I didn't play Crash Team Racing but Luigi's Mansion 3 had some really interesting things from co-op and the way that they made that work without it feeling like it was dragging you down as the main player.
Dope.
I'm so excited to play that with.
Dude, you're gonna have so much fun.
Santa's bringing a.
Ben just did a whole bunch of shit to the list. And
it's a quick one because I felt your mashup was cruel. So okay, there you go.
Yeah, it was. I was looking at that too, and I was like, meh.
None of us play fighting games, so
exactly.
I
love inside jokes. I hope to be a part of one someday.
So let's just go there since we're talking about it. Samurai Showdown needs to be on that list.
Okay.
I think
for a family game.
No, fighting game.
What's happening?
Depends what kind of family you've got, honestly.
And then I think that would be it.
Sure.
Jump Force, Super Smash Brothers.
Yep.
Yeah, Jump Force, Super Smash.
Super Smash.
You're on fighting games Smash right now?
So yeah. And wasn't there a King of
Dead or
Fighters
Alive
Tekken crossover?
There's Dead or Alive, yeah.
Is that this
I mean, look, I haven't given a shit about fighting games in a long time, but I bought Mortal Kombat 11 this year, and that one of the best Mortal Kombat games I've played in a long time.
I heard it's good.
That game was very well done.
I enjoyed Jump Force. I played it for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too.
The 3D, like the map being 3D, was pretty cool. Like you can actually do, and like you could do like the tag-ins or whatever, but you could be Vegeta and like
Naruto,
like that kind of thing. Like all the anime guys all together in one game was really cool.
Yeah.
Wombo combos, everything is pretty sweet.
There wasn't enough Bleach characters in that game for me.
Absolver came out on Game Pass this year, and that game's a great fighting game.
Yeah.
But it was
Did any of you guys play MK11?
No.
I've played it at a buddy's house. It was fucking awesome. I mean, if I had to pick anything, it would be
that
MK11.
like what they did with that game is fucking unbelievable. How polished that game, and it's so good. God, it's so good.
All right. Best sports racing game. Yeah.
Crash Team Racing.
CTR. What the Golf. MLB The Show 19.
Oh, hey, Tekken 7 came out this year.
Was Horizon
F1?
last year?
Horizon was
Horizon
last
was
year, but they
August
came
of
out
last
with
year.
they came Lego expansion this year.
Yeah.
Which is
that's
fucking cool.
That's what it was.
Yeah. F1 2019. Wreckfest, Team Sonic Racing, and FIFA 20. I've heard only good things about Wreckfest. Ben and I were super excited about that game, and neither of us bought it.
Yeah, that was a tough year for me. So
This is true.
I'm checking the date really quick on one of these.
I'm talking
Give me a
and
second.
my mic was muted.
Oh no, your mic's muted. What were you talking about? While Bobby checks dates.
Wreckfest.
Did you play it?
Yeah, I bought it and played it.
Kenichi.
It's pretty fun.
All right.
Like the first race that you have to do is it's not even a race, it's a freaking demolition derby on lawnmowers.
That's
And then
awesome.
they've got like trailer racing or whatever, where you have like an SUV or a car and it's hauling a trailer behind it, and you can it's basically nonstop demolition derby, but they have races and they have like demolition derbies only, that kind of stuff.
All right.
They have like bus races, that kind of shit. So like you can literally just.
I saw there's one in there where you can drive around in farm equipment, so you might
Yep.
might want to look into that there, pal.
I mean,
check that out there.
you know,
With
all
you
that
sit your
shit's-
haunches down and what?
All that shit's cool, but did you guys ever fuck around with Garfield Kart Furious Racing?
No, fuck, god damn it. I saw that game at work one day and I was like, they made a Garfield fucking karting game. Ugh. Dude,
Somebody
they made a
needs to
racing
dump
game.
all the gasoline on that game and fucking burn.
Dude, they made a game out of that TV or that YouTube channel where that kid opens up toys. That kid Ryan or whatever. Oh, that's funny. His name's Ryan. Anyway, there's a game called Racing with Ryan that's just that kid's face plastered on a weak polygonal figure racing against other
Copyright
squares.
infringement for
that's funny.
Ryan, you should name
cease and desist, Ryan. Cease and
Your
desist.
stream should be called Racing with Ryan.
Oh my god.
Anyway, I'm gonna still.
Hey, we missed a multiplayer game I think should have been mentioned, which was Sea of Thieves, but
That didn't come out this year.
That didn't come out this year.
oh, okay, that would have been ongoing then.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah,
Definitely
ongoing
in there for
best
ongoing.
or best expansion.
Yep, for sure. We got time. We got a week. So we actually put out our final picks. What's left?
Surprise game.
Best surprise game.
Yeah, best surprise. I threw some stuff in there because they were an actual surprise. Like nobody expected.
Darksiders.
Dude, Darksiders Genesis is dominating reviews right now.
Yeah, it's apparently it's supposed to be pretty great. So that's a
I heard
pleasant
that.
surprise.
Just 3 was garbage.
Yeah, I have it installed. I haven't dared open it because I love the first
I've-
two so well.
I know, man.
I'm playing through it. It's
It's confused,
Is it garbage or not?
I can't put my I can't put my finger on it. I mean, Gunfire did a good job like keeping the universe alive, but they changed something with the fight mechanic. Like you lost your combo meter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of the things that made being the Horseman and the other two cool and fun. And then the way that the whip, like I find myself using the other, like just smashing Y so I don't have to use the whip.
Yeah.
Because I think the whip was just poorly. It's a really cool concept, but it was just poorly executed in the way that they handled it.
It's
You're not
super
going to
weird
get
to
anything near the first with that one.
It's
No,
super weird to me that like Darksiders 3 was so lukewarm when Gunfire made Remnant. And Remnant feels like such a more composed and complete.
There's probably a good narrative there.
There's some
all their eggs are in
there's
that
some
basket.
asset recycling between the two.
Yeah.
I have to say that.
Yeah,
as well.
for sure.
Yeah.
Some of the buildings
what-
I'm running on Darksiders, and it's like, oh, what? I've seen this
What-
before.
That's funny.
When's the other one come out? Is it the 20th?
Soon, like this like Thursday, I think.
I think Genesis is out on PC and comes to console.
Is it $60?
No, it better not be.
But
I think it comes out on Valentine's Day on console.
it's $30 on Steam, but it's 15% off right now.
Okay, and it's not until 2020 for console?
Yeah, I think it's Valentine's Day for console, and it's out on Steam.
That's
now.
weird.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I read that somewhere. I don't know, man. I've read a lot of stuff today.
Online and split screen co-op. Hell yeah.
Would we not put Apex in this category? It was literally a surprise game.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
that's got to be on this list here.
Hey, here's a trailer. Now here's a game. Good luck.
When I put together surprise game, my thought was like the game that like we weren't planning on buying or looking forward to, but we ended up playing a lot. Apex, it absolutely still applies though. Nobody was like, I'm going to play this game because we didn't know until February 4th when it was like, hey, play this game. God, that day was so great. That day was so great.
That was so good.
That day was so great.
I put Disco Elysium and Outer Wilds on here because nobody had heard of them, and they ended up being so freaking amazing.
Yeah, Disco Elysium's like up for... It's like that studio's first full game, and it's like 7 people. And it's got like...
Just like Limbo and Inside.
It's got like 200 possible hours of narrative gameplay. Because the story branches so much.
Yeah.
It's just a group of people writing for 7 years straight. 5 years straight. And then throwing it into a game.
How about that?
And then Dauntless. And Ape Out. I know, Eric, you were playing Ape Out?
No, I was playing Dauntless.
Ape Out's so good,
Or was
man.
Bobby playing Ape Out? Bobby was playing Ape Out.
I didn't put it on this list, but I beat that game this year, and that game was a ton of fun.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's it. We've had a lot of conversation, and I think like the game of the year is floating in the flotsam of that conversation. We'll come around to it again, like I said, by the end of by next week, by next Wednesday. The Game Awards are next Thursday at 7:30, I believe, Central Time.
Yep.
I plan on doing the dress up in nice clothes and host like we did last year because that was a lot of fun. Eric, Ryan, Ben, Bobby, anybody is welcome to come along. Outside of that, NerdyBits is still working on Proc Gens. We're still playing through Halo Reach and having fun. And we're gonna we talked about this a little bit, I think, last time, but that show's took a hiatus for some reasons, some family events and things, and we're putting it all together now to finish it and then relaunch the last half of season 2 at the beginning of next year. Yeah. I think that's it for things that are going on. Bobby, thank you for showing up and hanging out and talking about games.
Yeah,
for
thanks
a
for
long
having me
time.
back, guys. This was a ton of fun.
Even
I missed
though
you
you
all.
were
hanging
wrong
out with you.
miserably about one of them.
Oh, I'll take it. I will relish in that. Give it to me.
Bobby saved some of that in like a Tupperware container, and he's gonna snack.
Oh
on
yeah,
it
I'll
the
be
rest
eating on
of the
that for the
week.
rest of the year. Yeah.
Man, Bobby,
For
what?
sure.
What
No,
do
you
have?
won't, because you're just gonna get the fucking pizza rolls out of your freezer. You've already said
Yeah,
this.
yeah. That's what Death Stranding is. That's the pizza rolls, man. That's they're the bagel bites.
See, the trick is you buy empty pizza rolls and blend your normal food so that you can inject those empty pizza
You
rolls.
just cry. You just cry, looking out into the mountains and cry.
There's a lot of crying in the beginning of Death Stranding.
There's a lot.
People are allergic to something, right? The chiral. Anyway,
Chiral network. Man.
it's so confusing. It's so confusing. Bobby, what do you got going on that you want to pitch? Not pitch, plug, and where can people find you? All that stuff.
Yeah, man. So I host a show called The Car. I've done that.
Wait.
Do it again.
Say that again. None of that. You said I host a show
Start over.
called.
Oh, sorry.
You go.
That's I host a show called The Casual Hour with two of my friends, Johnny and Chase. We post new episodes every Friday morning. We are a mediocre at best show, but you can check us out on anchor.fm/casual.
Nice.
Oh, the modesty.
I have not been too active on my video stuff. Just I'm kind of in that crunch period right now where I've been trying to finish up the year and get through a lot of shit. And it's just a lot to keep up with right now. So lumberjacksmack.com is my website. You can find some of my older stuff on there. I haven't put anything new up for a bit. We've got our Game of the Year episode is going to be recorded in a few weeks. But we've got some fun stuff that we every week we'll have a new episode up this Friday where we're just kind of getting through that backlog of games. It's not anything that I have any involvement with, but something I'm really enjoying that I just want to make a mention of on the show. Watchmen on HBO is just fucking my world up
so
in the best
good.
way possible.
I just watched
It's
episode
just
6 tonight.
so
That shit was insane.
it's so good.
I just had to sit there after that episode 6 and just contemplate what the fuck happened.
Yep.
I started episode 1 today, and
good for you.
I was immediately hooked.
Episode 6 might be some of the best TV I've ever
It
seen.
was like,
what?
Wait,
Yeah.
what? Okay.
Yeah, man, it's good. So you should be watching that show.
Yeah.
And that's what I got going on, man.
Dope. Eric, where can people find you, friend?
At Hybrid Glass everywhere, and as soon as I get it cleaned up and done, hybridglass.net will be a thing.
Dope.
Which is kind of cool. Always plugging, getting ready for, I'm not plugging it, but getting ready for the baby. So trying to get my,
You already did plug it, and now you're getting ready for it.
maybe that's why we're getting ready for it. Good call there, Ben. Getting ready for that. Redoing Christmas lights and trying to get my YouTube in order. I did join TikTok by some fucking weird recommendation, and now I'm wasting at least 90 minutes a day scrolling through ridiculous shit.
Dude,
and
it's so easily addictive.
Yep,
I'm like,
and then
I'll watch a couple things, and then like 30 minutes later, I'm like, oh my god.
Melissa has made me
sleep on the toilet.
Yeah, Melissa has made me swear on our relationship that I will not start doing the duets, because she knows I will never fucking get off my phone.
But how will she know if you do it?
Well,
she follows you.
She threatened to make a TikTok to make sure that I didn't do it. She was not happy with my at work at 3 a.m. video at all, if anybody saw that. But yeah, I don't know. It's stupid fun. I don't know.
It is.
Yeah.
And,
other than that, go ahead.
It's good for you creatives and entrepreneurs to get your name out there on a new platform before it's the algorithm is still fresh and finding its legs.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. The every time I load a video, I look at it. Shit, there's fucking not that it's small potatoes compared to some others, but I'm like, holy shit, this video got 500 views. What the hell is going on here? Okay, cool. Yeah. But yeah, it's fun. It's interesting. Other than that, started The Irishman, got an hour done. Fucking unbelievable so far. I'm gonna watch it episodically. I'm gonna do an hour a day.
I love that Scorsese bitched about Marvel movies and then made basically his own Marvel movie with like a bunch of
that's what it is.
Top talent in one movie.
And then his Dark Materials. I'm still really digging that. Another HBO show. Definitely, it is a lot. Luckily, I've benefited greatly from my work from home position.
Yeah, yes you did. Yes you have.
Cool. That's it for me.
Dope. Did you tell people where they could find you?
Yeah.
Hybrid Glass everywhere.
Ryan, where can people find you, my friend?
You can find me as Sergeant Sodium on Mixer, Twitter, and that's about it.
Mixing it up.
Yep.
All right. Ben, where can people find you?
You can find me everywhere at Sketch Sawyer. SketchSawyer.com just got a rehash. And I now am putting out a weekly newsletter that either has some old dug up comics from my archives or a video I make just for the newsletter, or just some insider knowledge and some unfinished art and stuff like that. It's a plan I'm continuing to develop as I go, but just trying to make people feel special. And it's all free, so you can sign up for that through the website. And that's about it. I started streaming again this week with good results, so I'm going to try to keep that up 3 times a week. Try to do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday kind of thing. I did a buff Rick and Summer today that I just posted.
It's very good.
Social media.
It's very good.
Pretty fun. I did that on Twitch, so that was fun. And that's about it, y'all.
Dope.
Nice.
If you want to follow me...
Oh, wait.
what?
Sorry. We have one more Butcher Queen book coming out on Wednesday.
Yes,
A week from today, and then Butcher Queen is done for a little while before we have some announcements. But that's the last book for a little while.
Announcements?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Someone touch my spaghetti. If you want to follow me, you can find me on Twitter and Xbox and Instagram and PlayStation at Lubwub. And before we do the final sign off, I do have our little favorite segment. I've got two little things to do for you guys because Smurf gave us a couple of things for your favorite segment. Smurf. No, it played. Y'all can't hear it. It played through the stream.
It's still broken.
No, it worked.
If we
fine.
can't hear it, it's broken.
It worked fine.
Okay.
All right, y'all suck. Whatever. Anyway, Smurfax. It's their
pretend
favorite
that was
segment
awesome.
that I always screw up the audio for, and they don't ever let me leave it alone. So with Modern Warfare out, he gave us one quote. U.S. Sergeant Brian Kramer has the longest confirmed sniper kill shot by a U.S. soldier. Which it's at 2,300 meters.
Yikes.
Which is over a mile, 6,900 feet.
Yeah.
6,900 feet. I'm bad at math, Ryan. Shut the fuck up.
How do you even see a mile away?
Very, very powerful
Jesus.
telescopic sights.
He
Why would-
aimed about 600 feet up.
What's
Right.
what's the urgency in taking out a target that's a mile and a half away from you?
We didn't want him to know we were coming.
Well, what was he?
If you read Hathcock's book, the famous
Yeah,
Vietnam
Marine
sniper,
sniper. Yeah.
he talks about like lying in swamps for like a week.
Yeah.
And so if you don't want to do that, just
You just sit at home and
shoot 'em from further
wanted
away
that
and then
wanted
walk
that
home.
shit and fire it through like 3 train cars and a donut.
Yeah.
So I said it, but I was on mute. That is 2,300 meters is 7,545.9 feet.
Angelo, you weigh 220 pounds. That's what Caleb just did.
So that is
No, I just
Almost
multiplied 2,300 by 3 because a meter's
Wrong.
3 feet. You
No, it's not
It's
exactly.
more than 3 feet. I
It's-
know.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
giving a rough. Guys, what game won game
mile
of the
and a half.
year? What game won game of the year last year? This is the last fact at the Game Awards. What game won game of the year? Who can guess it?
God, it's almost a mile and a half.
It
Red
was
Dead?
Fucking Walking Dead, was it? That was the year before that.
Walking Dead.
Yeah, Walking Dead got the game of the year like before last year. Something like
Yeah.
that. It was like the last.
Ryan says Red Dead. Bobby, what game won game of the year last year at the Game Awards?
God,
Probably Red Dead.
Was it Red Dead?
Eric.
It was God of War.
No, it was God of War. It's God of War.
There we go. God of War won game of the year last year at the Game Awards. And with that, you can follow
Say it,
NerdyBits
boy.
everywhere. Oh, so good. Read it, boy.
Or read it, boy.
You can follow NerdyBits everywhere by going to nerdybits.com and finding all of our social links, podcasts, and written stuff there. And this podcast goes up on Friday mornings as well, so you can listen to it then. But until next week, you guys have a good one and stay cool. And what's our sign off? What's the thing we do? Oh, yeah. See you. Catch you on the flippity flip.
Okay.
you do.
Yeah,
Nobody
apparently.
else said
Yeah,
bye.
we
Nobody
do
else
that.
said bye. Nobody else said
We
bye.
do.
I did my normal hat tip.
Thanks for watching.
Oh
and
yeah, that's
listening.
that's some good like audio visual right there.
Yeah, good audio.
Toodles.
Kisses.
Ben said kisses, and I hate my life.